Yappisode.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Yappisode. This is the Daily Yap. I am your host, Jay the Yapper. I hope everybody's having a great night. It has been a lot of crazy, I guess if you want to call it drama on X as usual. Nothing, I guess, new. We got debate eve, I guess you can call it that, because we got a big event tomorrow morning between Candace and Andrew Wilson. And if for the ones that don't know, we've been talking about a little bit on TikTok and in the members only live, which by the way was amazing. Thank you to everybody that joined that in the members after party that we did for the first one. Many more to come. But we are going to do a live tomorrow night. Probably like as like a watch party, and the guest that we'll have on, we're gonna chop it up as well because he'll probably join us as well tomorrow night. But we're gonna have a watch party tomorrow night for the Candace and Andrew Wilson debate at 9 p.m. on this channel, obviously. So that'll be fun. I probably, to be honest, won't watch the live at 10 a.m. I think they moved it to 11 a.m. I probably won't watch that because y'all know me, I'm huge on like initial authentic reaction in that very moment. So I'll probably end up waiting until 9 p.m. tomorrow night to watch it. So I'll probably stay off all social media just to see what happens. Because it's gonna be absolutely crazy. And yes, I am gonna watch it. I don't approve of the purpose of the debate. However, the debating and all that stuff, that's definitely things that I'm interested in. These are two people that I have watched in the past that have debated, so it is going to be very interesting seeing them go head to head. So I can't just not watch it just because I don't condone whatever is going on, because something is very off. But we're gonna definitely do that. However, we do have a special guest tonight that we are going to have a great conversation that a lot of people probably didn't see coming outside of the members only, just because we haven't really discussed it much in the regular episodes. But we've been talking behind the scenes, and I just can't wait to see how this conversation goes, just because again, I love talking to everybody from all different sides. But I believe Jay is gonna be, his name is Jay, bro. You can't go wrong. Jay is just, it's always a good vibe when your name is Jay, or if it starts with Jay. But make sure you guys hit the like button before we get into it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're on the road to 26,000 subs. I appreciate all the support as well. You can support the channel in many different ways. You have buymeacoffee.com, you have X, you have TikTok, all the different platforms that we'll be talking about and showing at the bottom of the screen on the banner as well. Without further ado, I want to bring up a special guest, the Unleavened Truth. Man, it has been
son.
What's going on, bro? How are you doing? I know that first time on the show, on the pod, and I'm so glad to talk to you, bro. I just would love for you to chop it up as far as like who you are, where you come from, your background, what you do, where the people can find you, the whole shebang, man. What's going on, bro?
Yeah, man. First off, thank you, bro. I been wanting to collab with you for a minute. Big fan of your work, and I'm just grateful to be here, man. I appreciate all the Yapaholics tuning in with us, man, and being live, bro. My name's JR. J like the bird, R like the verb. I guess I would call myself a hooper turned truther like you. Basketball background. I had a pretty decent. I peaked in high school, but I had a pretty decent high school career. Played ball out here in the Chicago area. And yeah, man, I've been kind of in the truth movement for a really long time. Kind of started back for me. I'm 36 now, so I graduated college 2012. So my journey kind of started around senior year of college. Jay, I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary Loose Change. You ever seen that documentary?
Nah, I'm a search it
Man,
up though.
Put that in the queue, bro. So Loose Change is like the documentary that kind of set off the 9/11 conspiracy, I guess we want to call it. I hate that we get labeled that way, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that documentary was like the first like really well published documentary that was like in the conspiracy space. And one of my homies put me onto it, and it changed my life, man. It really opened up my eyes. I grew up in the church. I went to private school. I was in the church, but I wasn't really sheltered. A lot of my friends are still in public school. So I kind of got the best of both worlds, but I've always kind of been a man of God, a man after God's own heart. And so that documentary really kind of opened me up to like the spiritual warfare that we deal with, and the deceptions that we deal with. And a lot of that stuff, obviously, me and you were going to talk about tonight. But it really kind of changed me, bro. I didn't realize how deep the depths were when it comes
Yeah.
to some of the deceptions, right? And 9/11
Right.
is like, I mean, you could rip the band-aid off with that one, bro. For somebody who's like still not quite there,
Right.
that really kind of opens things up. So that's kind of where it started for me, man. And then I just kind of been on this journey for the last, I don't know, 15 years or so of just kind of unlearning some of the things that I had previously learned,
Yeah. Yeah.
researching, right? Like researching the things that are previously searched for us. And so through that, I've really come across a lot of different truths, man. You were talking on the show the other day about COVID and that whole era, right? And like how it shut things down for you from a basketball standpoint. It was a big time in my life too. New Year's Day of 2020, bro. I proposed to my still fiance. We're actually getting married this October. Proposed to her in
Congrats.
2020. Thank you, man. Proposed to her in 2020, January, like New Year's Day. Not even 2 months later, bro, my best man passed away in a car accident. And it
Oh,
was
snap.
like, yeah, bro. It was like, whoa. 2 days after that, the store I told you I work for Apple, we shut down all the stores because of COVID. And so that was just like a spiral of like negativity after negativity after negativity, right? And so that process, 2020, was really interesting because a lot of people kind of woke up to what was really going on, right? And people that I never thought, bro, I'm talking about people I never thought would like see the light of day,
Right.
right? And then this time period really opened their eyes. And so I kind of took that as like a learning tool, kind of kept growing with it, and I really just kind of was starting to build my street cred because a lot of my friends like consider me the conspiracy guy in the group. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But people were like, people were like, nah, actually, there's something to this. I still get
Yeah.
messages to this day like, bro, I'm so glad you spoke up. I can't say these things because of my job, this, that, and the other. Um, but that time period, bro, like really started like a big season of trials for me. I told you my best man passed away 2021 April. They came out with the poke poke,
Hmm.
and we had all that nonsense. My
Right.
pops ended up taking it. I told my girl, I'm like, baby, like 6 months, he's not gonna be here because we know what's up with this. And when I tell you, bro, almost to the day, he passed away November of 2021. So it was just like trial after trial after trial after trial after trial. Um, and that kind of led me down a kind of a dark path. I kind of strayed away from my faith, kind of strayed away from what I feel like was my true calling, what God really wanted me to do, which was being in this space and really like talking to people about Him, but kind of using the world as like the icebreaker to kind of talk to people about God. And I really found myself straying, bro. And then 2024, I just kind of decided like, hey, I got to snap out of this. I got to make a move. My girl was kind of like, hey, man, like, I need you to get your act together. So I
Yeah.
had to do something right. And so I was like, man, I'm gonna rededicate my life. I got baptized, and I just kind of felt this on my heart, bro, like over and over and over again. Like, I want you to teach people about me. I want you to teach people. I want you to learn. I want you to be a student, but I want you to share the word, right? Like that's what I'm calling you to do. And I just was trying to find like the medium to do that. And so 2025, I was like, you know what? Let's start a YouTube channel. I'm on YouTube all the time, watching everybody else. Why not
Right.
let me,
Right.
hop in here and just do my thing? You know what I mean?
Why not? Right.
So yeah, why not, bro? Why not me? You know what I mean? So I started that early 2025, bro. Put out a couple videos. Again, my whole channel with the unleavened truth is really like, the name unleavened comes from Galatians 5:9. It says a little leaven ruins the whole lump. And it's this idea that a little bit of falsehood can take any truth and distort it and make it something that it's not. And the enemy uses that.
Mm.
And so that's kind of where the name started. And I was in it, but I wasn't fully invested, bro. And then 2025, which leads us to what we're talking about today. End of 2025, Charlie Kirk. And obviously, for the people who know Charlie and who love Charlie like I did, you know, his entire life was dedicated to speaking truth to power, right? A firm believer, but was really one of the pure voices in the political sphere to really kind of talk about the things that a lot of people didn't really want to talk about. And so that really kind of pushed me when he was killed. That really kind of pushed me like, okay, we need more voices in this space because one of the biggest voices we had is gone now, right? And so that's kind of where I'm at right now, man. I'm just kind of stepping out in faith. Um, you know, still kind of going through some trials. Full disclosure, my mom actually passed away about a month ago, so
Oh
I've been kind
man.
of, yeah, bro. I've been going through it a little bit, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, but God is good. You know, he uses everything for His glory, and I'm just, just a vessel, and that's kind of where I'm at, man. So, like anybody, you guys can follow me on Living Truth on TikTok, on X. My name is Joe Redmond on Facebook. If you want to hit me up on Facebook, and then obviously YouTube, and just kind of going from there, man. Just kind of pushing
Yeah.
where God leads me.
Yeah, bro. I love that. I know you probably have even more. There probably was only, 20%, probably less of your actual story. But what you just said was absolutely beautiful. And I think that happened to a lot of us, bro. Like all of my friends too that have known me for my entire life, when they do find my socials now, because like, I don't know about you, but when I really got into it, I didn't tell anybody that knew me from way back then. You know what I mean? I
Yep.
just kind of like started, and then whoever started rocking with me, I'm like, hey, that's great, but I'm not finna promote it on like old stuff where my
Mm-mm.
friends are on. So
I'm not
when they,
ready.
nah, not at all. I've never ever posted anything where there's many
Yeah.
people that have known me from back in the day. I'm like, if you find me, that's great. Outside of that,
Yeah.
you don't need to, you know what I mean? So when they do find any of my pages, they that's the first thing they say. They're like, bro, like this sounds like you at the lunch table when we was in high school, when you was in the
Yep. Just you
calf in
being you.
college. Yeah. So like they
Yep.
was like, man, this is not surprising at all that you on here saying all this stuff. And I think that with Charlie specifically, that sparked the YouTube side of everything. So like TikTok already been on there doing that for years. But as far as YouTube, I started that back in 2020 when COVID happened. We talked about it a little bit in members only, but yeah, when that happened and that basketball went out the door, you couldn't get a regular job. You know what I mean? Everything was shut down. So like there was no, oh, you got a degree, so now you get to go get the big boy job. And it was
Nah.
nothing. Everybody was
Yeah.
closed doors. So, for
Yep.
the first time, like going into the real world, I had no options. So, I ended up working for Amazon. And at that time, I literally was like, bro, I think, you know, I should just do like a day in the life as an Amazon driver during COVID. And
That's how your
that's
channel
what
started.
started the
Cause I
YouTube channel.
Yeah, because I thought when I first saw you, I'm like, that's so random. He's talking about Charlie because your first videos was you driving flex.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, all right.
I
So you kind
deleted
of
a whole bunch
pivoted.
of them, but I saved that one just so like when I
Got
reference
you.
all this stuff, people can go back to that first
Can
video. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I used to do on the daily on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's just day in the life as Amazon driver. And that's how the channel got
Interesting.
all the way up to like I think 17, 18,000 subs. But then more crazy life stuff happened. So put that on pause and I just deactivated the YouTube
Interesting.
channel. And then when Charlie died in 2025 September, people were just I was going crazy on TikTok, just preaching, the truth about everything. Cause it really did something to my soul when I got on there and I saw like so many people celebrating what happened. And then, saying all these negative things and like that that,
Yeah.
that lit something under me, bro. Cause I was just
Yeah,
so upset
bro.
about that whole situation. And
Yep.
I think September to December, it was just trying to, I guess, defend in a way, like not necessarily, like yeah, kind of his legacy, but more so like the bigger picture of everything.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
yeah, January launched or activated the YouTube channel again, and I was like, man, you know what? I
Let's get
feel like
active.
Yeah, bro. Like just
Yeah.
getting your voice out there, speaking truth.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna be somebody that's like, somebody asked me the other day about that, but I'm never gonna be somebody that's like actually heavy into politics where I'm picking sides and stuff like that. I'm more
Mm.
so on the side of like, I want to just push truth no matter what. You know what I mean? Most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be from a neutral position, but as long as I can just push truth, and somebody says, "Hey Jay, what do you think about this?" It's gonna be the honest truth, unbiased, and leave it at that. So,
Yep.
Charlie definitely sparked something in me in September. Just seeing like, it's kind of like the title of the video talking about the bigger picture, but the bigger picture of everything. Like it was that,
Yeah.
and then you started to realize, like, man, they really did that in front of like the whole world. You know what I mean? They could have
Bro.
easily did that to him in his sleep. You know what I
Bro.
mean?
So
They
it,
could have
it automatically begs the question, like, why did we have to see this? Why?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. They did it to us like that, traumatized the entire world because everybody saw the clips. Nobody, I mean, you can speak for yourself, but from what my understanding, nobody can forget where they were, or let me just rephrase it as everybody remembers where they were on 9/10 when it happened. That's for a reason. You know what I mean? They could have
Yep.
easily went another way, but now instead,
Yep.
every single one of us is going to remember where we were on 9/10 when we got the news about Charlie. To this day, I remember I was at the park with my son. He was
Yep.
playing in the sandbox. I got the notification. Charlie Kirk been shot. I was like, dang, like I didn't like watch his content like that. I was on the
Yeah.
Candace and unfortunately Brandon Tatum side, but I was on that side
Same,
first.
bro. That's crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
Brandon Tatum was phenomenal, bro. Like I don't,
Yeah.
that, but
Bro, I was watching his live stream when I got the news. I
oh,
got the
that's
news.
crazy.
My girl, yeah. So I'm off on Wednesdays. It was a Wednesday. I'm off on Wednesdays. My girl texts me, and she's like, "I think Charlie Kirk just got shot." And I was like, "Stop playing." Right? Hop online. I see Officer Tatum's live talking about it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I was a Tatum guy at that time, so I'm sitting there
yeah.
watching him. He's giving updates, and I'm thinking like, okay, they have a rapport because Officer Tatum kind of does what Charlie does, but like the light
Right,
version, right?
right.
So I'm like, they kind of got a rapport. He might have the inside scoop on what's really going on. So I'll watch him. And then, he announces he passed away, blah, blah, blah. But that's crazy, bro. Cause like now I'm like, I would never,
I never,
I would never turn on
no,
Officer Tatum ever again, bro. Never.
no. And then that's like
No.
the bigger picture of like something with this Charlie Kirk murder did this, something happen. You have these influencers, these podcasters, these people that we used to listen to that as soon
Yeah.
as this Charlie Kirk thing happened, it exposed everybody. You know what I mean? Brandon
Yep.
Tatum changed. Megan Kelly changed. Now Megan
Instantly.
Kelly had a lot of crazy stance. Like she was kind of like defending, you know, Jeffrey, and she's been saying some very questionable things, but like
Yeah.
she has also stood for a lot of things as well that oppose this administration. So
Yeah.
in a way, you would kind of listen to her sometimes. And then you
Sure.
had obviously Tucker Carlson, and I know
Yep.
people have already like
Yeah,
hit in
we're
the
going to have
chat
to talk
about
about that, bro. Because I saw you a video the other day. I was like, what did Tucker do? Did I
hey,
miss something?
so man, yeah, a lot of people have been let me go ahead and pull up the clip. So I was watching no, actually two people hit me up, DM on X and on TikTok, and was like, did you just hear what Barron revealed or said about Erica and Tucker? And I was like, "No, what you talking about?"
Huh.
Like, as soon as I seen the DM, like I clicked on it, like, what are you talking about? And it was like, bro, Erica went to Tucker's house a couple of weeks ago. I was because I already knew Barron had said on his episode after the preliminary hearing, he said he hinted at something like Erica made like a stop somewhere, like he went to go visit, but I'm not going to reveal anything yet. I'm waiting for somebody to call me back to reveal and all that other stuff. So he never revealed where she went, and I'm gonna pull up the clip, but he said it in his live stream
What?
episode the other night that Erica went to Tucker's house a couple of weekends back. And that, I mean, let me play the clip.
That's
That
crazy.
Yeah, so like, I've already been on the Tucker train trying to get everybody to see him for who he is.
Yeah, and
And
I've had questions about him too, because it wasn't so around the time that I was rocking with Officer Tatum. So one thing that I do, part of my unleavenedness, um, when it comes to like tithing, I've stopped giving my tithe directly to a church, and instead
yeah,
I give it to other, creators or people who I think
yeah, yeah,
are
yeah,
doing the work
yeah.
of discipleship that the church isn't doing. Make sense? So
Yeah.
one of the people that I was supporting was Tucker Carlson, because I'm like, this dude,
Mhm.
he's doing the work, right? He's exposing truth. He's talking about the things nobody wants to talk about. And so I peeped his 9/11 series. It was like a 5-part series.
Yeah, yeah.
And I get through like 3 parts, and I'm like, this dude ain't talking about nothing. Like not a conspiracy, not a no planes theory, nothing, bro. Just
Right.
like all this, like, I don't know, surface level background
Yeah.
music of 9/11. You know what I mean? I was like,
Mhm.
okay, that's kind of weird. And then I saw you coming out these last couple weeks talking about him, but I knew that we had been chopping it up about talking. I'm like, I'm gonna purposely not watch that yet. Let's just watch it together. So show me the
Yeah.
clip. I'm ready.
Man, this did it
'Cause
right
that's
here.
crazy.
Well, it did it for me about a month, or when did it happen? Man, there's another Yappisode. I brought it up. I pinpointed like the first time I made my video. I've been thinking about it for a while, but I made a video
Yeah.
about Tucker about 2 months ago or so, and I was like, man, I'm
Okay.
sick of this, bro. Like, Buddy is way too smart. Everybody know he is a very wise individual,
Yeah.
well articulated. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, bro, I'm not going for the whole like, oh, he's just waiting for the right time. I was like, no.
Bruh.
So it's
And
been a long
I'm
time
starting to
coming.
feel that way about Candace, bro.
Listen, hold on now, hold on. We gonna talk.
Too
We gonna
far
talk.
ahead. Let's one step at a time. One step at a time.
We gonna talk. All right, so this is the clip
One
right
step at a
here
time.
of
Yep.
Baron. It was in a super chat for anybody that wants to go back and look. I believe it was on yesterday's. Let me just make sure I am right about that. Yes. No, he's wearing the same thing. That's crazy. No, what is that?
Baron's episode yesterday.
It's like beige. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to make sure I am accurate about that. Yes, it was yesterday's episode around the 2-hour mark.
Okay.
Is where you'll find this. This is when he goes into his supers, just in case anybody thinks that I fabricated this video and somehow used AI to make Baron say what he's about to say right now.
Which is
But
crazy.
this is
Okay.
Baron answering the question. It says, where was Erica a few weekends back? Because it's only going to be his response. Where was Erica a few weekends back? What is that? CIK? What is that?
CIK. I don't know.
I don't know. Also, off topic, I want you to know that your laugh and your voice makes my nonverbal so happy when you laugh. He laughs. Okay. And listen to his response, because he told his audience, he said, I'm going to share with you guys where she was. And he actually ended up forgetting and never sharing it until this super came up. And then here's his response.
Does make me feel very good. I was told she went to Tucker's. Right about the time Tucker started getting involved and making comments. Does make me feel very good.
And so you can tell he's also, I mean, he's a Tucker, supporter in a way. So you could tell that
Sure.
It also it seems like it upsets him that he is kind of insinuating or implying that he's disappointed in Tucker Carlson right now. That's the vibes I got. I could be wrong. Maybe you feel differently, but that's kind of what I got.
I'd agree with that.
You agree?
I would agree with that, yeah.
And so
that's weird.
Yeah. And so the couple of weekends ago, like I said, was what does this camera angle look like? Oh, that's cool. It is again after the preliminary hearing, and he did a podcast with Elizabeth Lane, who is also somebody that's been on X, an extreme advocate for what happened to Charlie Kirk. And like I said, I keep it real about anybody. And I've tweeted it, so it's also public information. But I watched that video and that interview only because she was somebody that was an extreme advocate of what happened to Charlie Kirk. Like she went on Candace's podcast and did the same thing. They talked about it for a long time. So I said, no, she's gonna get on there and kind of like press Tucker. There's no way that she doesn't like say anything. She didn't say a word about Tucker, bro. Like it might have been
Elizabeth.
Like, yeah,
really,
like 2 hour. You know how Tucker interviews are 2+ hours.
Yeah,
nothing. And I'm talking about she
nothing
was
at all
in the courtroom and during the preliminary hearing. Or not, I think she was camping. I don't think she ever made it inside, but she was in the preliminary hearing. You know, she was like one of the first people to make this long tweet about Erica that Candace shared on her channel.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say she blew up from there, but I remember that's when the first time I heard about her, because I was like, dang, she like articulated that perfectly.
Yeah, and she's been going hard at what's old boy's name? Paramount, Not So Tactical.
Yeah,
she's been going hard at him. like hard at him. Like calling him things that I have not said since I was a young man.
Yeah, like, she's very, you know, I don't know if it's passionate or what, but yeah, and so that's why when I saw her, I was like, okay, like that's dope that she got the Tucker interview, but I for sure thought she was gonna get up there and ask, you know, great questions. And no, bro, I you know, he has his chapters and stuff on his interviews, and I think the only time they ever hit on Charlie was when she was going into like kind of like the psyops of like, why is, you know, the tiny hats, like you say, or I forgot what other country they called it, but she was like, those two were like in cahoots and doing some type of bot program where they're like, you know, just up and down people's comments, trying to shut them up or whatever. And so he was just saying like, why would they be interested in coming up with this bot program trying to silence people or whatever? And he said, like, you see what I'm doing. I'm staying out of it. I'm not talking about the whole Charlie Kirk. So that's the only time he ever said anything about Charlie Kirk. And that's the only time she ever said anything about Charlie Kirk. So I immediately thought that was very strange coming from somebody that literally has been talking about Charlie Kirk nonstop for a long time. Got in front of Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, bro. And she, if I'm not mistaken, Elizabeth Lane is like, she's a Democrat. She's not conservative. Am I correct in that?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Because if that's true, let's assume just for the sake of conversation that that's true. What feels to me like what could be happening, I'm curious what you think. It almost feels like there is a civil war being waged amongst the conspiracy, woke right, whatever you want to call us, right? And it almost feels like, especially what you're talking about with Tucker, that maybe he's stepping out, letting everyone else cut each other's heads, and then he can step back in with like, my hands are clean. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Because that don't make sense to me. Elizabeth, I mean, I've watched her on Bays. I've watched her with Danks. I watched the interview with Candace. And it's like, for you to go on Tucker, who, in my opinion, might be the biggest out of all of them, just because he's still in good standing with the rest of the establishment media for the most part, right? He hasn't been fully canceled yet. So for you to get that opportunity and you don't press him at all about anything, that's weird to me.
Agree. And you know, I've always given people the benefit of the doubt unless you show me something otherwise to make me question you. And I know she's cool with Bays, and Bays has been on the channel before. Bays is great, but you know, that was like one of the things about just kind of always being solo and independent thinking and all of that. I don't ever really want to be like in cahoots, because I feel like that's what happens when weird things happen. You know, people kind of look to you like, hey, like, this is somebody that you have had on your channel many times. Do you have any? Isn't that not strange? But
would you like to comment? Yeah,
it was right. So me, I'm like, I love to comment on everybody. So like, I love to stay out the way and be solo. And that was one of the times where I was like, I don't know. Either, giving her the benefit of the doubt, either Tucker told her off camera that we're not going to talk about it, which then would expose Tucker Carlson because, obviously you're going out your way to avoid the Charlie Kirk conversation, which is a bad look. Or I'm going to say Elizabeth Lane is somewhat of a distraction because you've been super loud about Charlie Kirk. And you had a chance, like you said. I would agree that Tucker Carlson has the biggest platform out of everybody. I know Candace is kind of like the most like popping and trendy,
popular,
popular, right? But Tucker Carlson is as far as like the most like established and like, so I agree. And she went on Tucker Carlson, and I mean, I got a clip of it when she was talking to him because it's not long at all when she was talking about
And I'm curious. Let's give Elizabeth the benefit of the doubt, because another way we could look at it, she uses his platform to get her name out there,
right?
And now when people come to her, now they see what she's really about. And like you said, that might be more on Tucker to be like, hey, you can come on my show, but we're not talking about this, that, and the third.
Yeah,
you could say yes or you could not be here.
Right. Yeah.
And, if you're Elizabeth, like, you can't turn that down. You got to.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like, that's just it's hard. It's hard. You know what I mean? And I definitely don't want to minimize that at all. I'm sure so many people would love to be on Tucker Carlson and get that opportunity to not only be seen as like the conspiracy, like you said, I hate using the word, but that's what they call it. You don't want to be seen. You got this one shot on Tucker Carlson. I don't want to be seen as the conspiracy girly. Let me actually put out like who I am and what I stand for. All these things. That way I could be marketable in so many different ways. So it's like, I get it. But I know for me personally, I've never been in that position to just claim like what I would do and wouldn't do. But I would like to think that like, as important of a voice that Tucker Carlson is, I know for me, I'm like, look, we ain't even got to get into the weeds of like, why won't you do this for Erica? Like, we ain't got to do all that. You know what I mean? Like that can definitely be messy. You know what I mean? If you feel like that's your great friend, I don't want to sit here and make you choose on camera in your house. You know what I mean? I want to respect, your boundaries. But I'm like, it does come to a point though, bro, where I gotta ask you, like, for somebody that we have already seen the text message, this is with my own eyes. I saw Charlie Kirk in his final days on earth defend you, right? He literally said, I'm denying all of these millions and millions of dollars. Y'all can take it. Y'all can have it. I'm not canceling Tucker. That's my dog. It's not happening. So I'm like, the fact that I saw that Tucker, I have to ask you, bro, like, why aren't you standing 10 toes behind him, knowing that he stood 10 toes behind you right before he died? Like, I feel like that's a valid question as a supporter of his. And then, like I said, you ain't got to go into the whole deep Erica past and all that stuff. But I will say, I'm like, okay, also, you are somebody that says that you hate being called like an anti-Semite if you just like disagree with something that those folks are doing, or you hate being labeled demonic and all these things. So I would ask him again, generally, I'm like, there's one side that is calling everybody demonic if they ask questions about what happened to Charlie. The same questions you have. And we all know who, but again, if we don't want to use names, outside of Erica, but I'm like, there's a group of people that are calling everybody demonic, anti-Semitic, and all this stuff if we ask questions about what happened to Charlie. Why don't you come on your channel and stand up for your supporters against those people that are doing that?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like,
I
don't know, bro. That's what I would ask him.
So that leads me to another question, and it's something that you brought up. Where was I watching you? Because I told you I'm a fan. There's somebody that you were talking with. Oh, Black Line Brief. You were on the show with Black Line Brief, which I watched a couple of his. What's his name? Matt McKim, I think. I watched a few of his episodes. I actually just did an interview with the TPUSA employee that he had on his page. Manley.
The other
did
Matt?
You watch that?
Or wait, which
Matt
one?
McKim. Matt just had Black Line Brief. He just had
was it the other Matt, or was it I know it's like three different. Oh, I think you just said the name. What was the name?
Mitchell Manley.
Oh yeah, okay.
His channel, his channel is Artifacts Memoir.
Yeah,
I tagged you in the AI video he made.
Yeah, I watched that. That was dope. That was crazy.
Fire, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just interviewed him. What's today? Thursday. I just talked with him Tuesday, and it brought me down the line of watching Matt's stuff, and I saw you on there. You brought up something that I wanted to actually ask you about, and I don't want to get too far away because I know you wanted to throw a clip on there of Elizabeth and Tucker.
He'll come back around a bit after.
Your theory that these people, the Megyn Kellys, Tucker Carlsons, Brandon Tatums, you mentioned something about them being scared, fearful of what happened to Charlie happening to them. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That actually, I've been thinking about that ever since I heard you say that, because again, I'm kind of like you. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt if I can, right? Sometimes, like Erica with the glitter, that's too far. Can't give you that. But like for the most part, like I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And it had me thinking, bro, I'm like, let me just put myself in their shoes, right? I'm a Brandon Tatum. The Unliving Truth is up there with them. And I see a peer get unalived. What happened with Charlie?
Mm-hmm.
I would probably be pretty spooked.
Yeah.
To like, I don't know if I want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it does explain a little bit about the Blakey Neffs of the world, Andrew Colvett, some of their weird behavior after the fact.
Right.
The problem is it doesn't excuse what we saw the day of. It doesn't excuse what we saw on site, right?
Yes.
Like Mikey McCoy disappearing before he even processes what he saw. We can't get around that. But I do think that's interesting and worth mentioning that, maybe these people are just afraid. And humans, when they're afraid, it's fight or flight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that, I know that's like one of the first things that people will come to Tucker's defense is that like maybe Tucker was threatened and, they have all of these things for him. And I've given him the same benefit of doubts and excuses. But I think with Tucker specifically, one thing that I've been going back and forth with him that I feel like I'm kind of set on the side now that he is controlled, is that, let's just say he's being threatened. Then you would have to ask the question of, okay, by who or from who? And then somebody might say, okay, let's just say in the conspiracy with Charlie Kirk, there was foreign involvement from the Tiny Hats. Maybe the Tiny Hats had something to do with it. And now Tucker's scared. And I'm like, okay, that, again, you watch that happen and it does something to you, like it did something to all of us. But my thing is, if you were truly scared, speaking for Tucker specifically, he wouldn't make any more videos about them. He still does. He still talks about Bibi Netanyahu. He still talks about them. He was talking about them before Charlie was killed. That's scared. Right. You wasn't scared, bro. You know what I mean? It's not like he was conspiring and coming up with all these different theories. He literally was like, he was putting a name to it. Bibi Netanyahu this. He came out with that, the Bibi files. You know what I mean? Like you were specifically targeting their leader. So I was like, you was never scared. Now let's just say he was somebody that was like, I'm gonna do it until I can't no more or something happens, right? Then Charlie happens. And maybe he's like, all right, I was talking a lot of big game, but you know what? They done knocked off my friend. Maybe let me dial back a little bit. Right? But then when you go to his channel, he's still criticizing them. So now I have to think, are you allowed to criticize him? Now I'm thinking you're controlled op. You know what I mean? Because you was criticizing him before Charlie happened, and you're still criticizing him. But you would think that if they had something to do with Charlie's death, which we don't know, but Joe Kent came on his show and said, we had, little feelings that there was foreign involvement. We never were able to go down those rabbit holes to figure out if it was or it wasn't. But I'm just letting you know that it kind of seemed like it, you know what I mean? And so for somebody that's so, I wouldn't say obsessed with the Tiny Hats, but he definitely is one of the people that's like, I'm not going to bend the knee to them. And he's always coming out about them. So I'm like, okay, here's a perfect time to really deep dive into them. Your best friend, which I don't think he was a good friend anymore with all this information coming out. He dies.
Yeah, sure.
you have that country involved. You've been talking about them forever. This is perfect. And then he goes ghost and doesn't want to talk about it at all. Now I'm like, well, you know what, bro? I think, you know what I mean? I'm gonna sit on that side, which is he's allowed to talk about them. He's control op. They have created, you know, I want to just completely discredit him because I loved Tucker a lot before Charlie Kirk, and then something happened, which again, as soon as Charlie Kirk happened, so many people were exposed. But I'm like, dude, was your platform created to kind of like divert the attention off of the mainstream media pages of people being so upset with our greatest ally? Now they go to your page and everybody has this fake outrage, and because they can confine with Tucker Carlson, he feels the same way, but whole time it's just controlled up. Because I'm like, you know what I mean? So
Interesting.
I hear people when they say all of these individuals are scared. But my thing is, and this also goes into, you know, something that you hit on earlier with Candace and all these other people too, is if they were scared, they wouldn't even talk about it at all. Like there's no in between when your life is on the line. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm scared, but I'm going to literally say that I know so many things behind the scenes on camera. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
You wouldn't say that. You wouldn't say I have so much evidence. I have so many things. I know exactly what, maybe not exactly what happened to Charlie, but I know all the people involved. Like, you wouldn't say stuff. You would just be quiet about it if you truly were scared. So it's hard to kind of like go with that.
I think there's a difference between, and maybe you agree with this, maybe you don't. I think there's a difference between being scared and being afraid. And I would give these people the fact that they may be scared, but if you're speaking, you're not afraid.
Meaning, I agree with you. Yeah.
You even despite knowing that the arrows are pointed in your direction, I'm still willing to take one in the chest regardless. Otherwise, if you were truly scared, you'd be at the crib doing regular stuff, watching TV.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And we kind of segued into this naturally, which is cool. Candace. I mean, we're sitting here calling these people the tiny hats. She can say the full name. And she can do whatever she wants on her channel. Her channel don't freeze. Her super chats don't stop. And I'm not taking nothing from Candace because I love sis to death. I have been a fan since post-COVID when I woke up during the George Floyd stuff. Her and Charlie, I literally went from like hating them to loving them overnight. And so I'm a big fan, you know, and obviously like we kind of eating off some of the things that she brings us, at least her continuing the conversation, right? She's keeping the water on. So like, I'm not going to discredit that. But, and I think even Candace, if she's truly a truther, if she's truly, you know, woke, so to speak, God, I hate that term. If she's truly on that side though, of kind of like being aware of what's really going on, even she would have to admit it's fair to question her because it's fair to question everybody, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I don't know you, you don't know me. We should question each other. We're having a good conversation, but like, that's just the nature of the beast, right? Like everybody and everything should be up for criticism, scrutiny. So what is it that you do that for some reason you don't get the same punishment or, you know, get the lights turned off the way like a Didi or Coach Colin or Jay the Yapper, if we do those same things, it's over for us. Right. So that's interesting to me, the concept of them being controlled opposition, but in a way that we've never really experienced before. Because controlled opposition used to be very obvious, you know, like the whole red versus blue. That is classic false dichotomy, right? Classic controlled opposition. But we're used to it now. And maybe the establishment is getting hip to that. Maybe the data we're giving them, because all these conversations we're having, is making them hip to that. And now they're like, okay, now we got to adjust. We got to repackage this playbook in a different way that doesn't feel so normal. So people don't really see what we're really doing.
Yeah. I mean, Man, you hit it right on the head, and I'm glad we're having this conversation, because this is probably the first convo on, air or anything about something like this. And I think we hinted at it a little bit, especially with other people. But speaking of
Yeah.
Candace, I think that there are things that people, and one thing that I hate, and Didi says it so well, and I 100% agree. We should not have, especially with these people that we don't know. We don't know these people. If you do, that's
Yes.
great for you. That's a different ball game. But we don't
Yep.
know these people. So like this blind faith that people are attached to, it's just crazy. If I say
Yep.
I support her channel and I do rock with her, that should be the one time I have to say it. But like when you start criticizing, especially when it comes to her specifically, Tucker Carlson too.
Yeah.
But it's almost like you have to remind people, hey, I like her content, but something is a little strange. Please don't attack me, because none of us know her. So you can't tell me I'm wrong when you don't know her either. So,
Right. You don't know either. Yep.
Right. So like I never seen her. So Didi actually cracked me up the other day, because he said, oh my gosh, it was referring to, it might have been Candace, but he was referring to like Candace is like, I don't even know if she exists. Like allegedly Candace exists. I never seen her with my own eyes. You know what I mean?
Come on, bro.
And it was hilarious, because I'm like,
Come on,
he ain't lying. I've never seen her before. So I guess allegedly
Yeah. You
But,
taking it too far, Didi.
that cracked me up, bro. But
Yeah.
that
No, but he's
100%.
right though. That mindset is correct. He even
Yes.
I watched this episode. I think he recorded it yesterday, but I watched it today before we hopped on, about the debate, and Andrew Wilson literally admitting that he's a Freemason.
Yep. I saw
And
that. Yep.
he mentioned in that video, he was like, I don't agree with you calling yourself a fan of a person, right? You could be a fan of their work, but unless you know them, you can't be a fan of the person. And I completely agree, bro. It's like you really got to take that time to get to know somebody before you can be like, nah, I vouch for his character.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so that's why with Candace, these are all the things that kind of like, I don't know. And I think based on her foundation and based on what she tells everybody else, nobody should feel afraid to question her. According to her, you should question anything and everybody and everything. So
by her own logic.
By her own logic. So with Candace, it's hard for me to avoid kind of the thought process that her, Megyn Kelly, and Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk come from the same cloth. They got the same background. They all were Zionists at one point, and it was heavy pushing that type of stuff, which that is not great at all, especially for America. But they were pushing it. Then at one point in time, they all were MAGA shields. I don't know to what extent for Candace and Charlie, because from publicly speaking, we don't have anything to prove that they knew, like had foreknowledge that Trump was not a great person, but yet they manipulated their audience. To me, it does seem like they genuinely liked Trump and they genuinely were disappointed that he changed. Now, with Tucker Carlson, I had no idea that those text messages exist of him telling everybody how much he hates Trump and how demonic he is and how much he's gonna destroy everything.
Crazy.
That's crazy. But then you got on the stage and told everybody that God is among us and this is a great thing that's happening. That's insane.
Where did those texts come from?
It was a lawsuit that was filed with the Fox News and somebody else back in 2020, 2021. So he said all of that before he got on that stage in 2024 and campaigned for Trump and told everybody on stage at that Republican convention that God is among us. This is a great thing that's going to happen. And he made it seem like he was just always cool with Trump. The whole thing was just gassing up Trump. And he's like, this is the guy that everybody's saying is bad and all the other stuff. And it's like, you said that. What you mean?
Right. And what's weird, so I feel like we have to treat people in this space a little differently in this regard. The number one thing that we have is our word. It's our integrity. It's our credibility, right? The minute that that's tainted, at least if you're a smaller creator, like you got to pivot because like we're
Right.
not listening to you anymore, right? So Tucker, being head honcho in this space, right, should know first and foremost how important your integrity and your credibility is.
Right.
How do you then? I didn't even know those texts existed. So like, or like that lawsuit, that was like that's news to me. But that's mind blowing to me because how can you then one go on stage and give your support for Trump, but two, and maybe this is our fault, unless the lawsuit came out recently. How did you get away with it?
Yeah.
Like, how did you manage to keep your integrity and your credibility? How are your followers growing despite your obvious contradiction about the president?
Well, that's the part that you hit on before is that, you know, we don't know these people, but I think the part of how our system has us so manipulated, our media has us so manipulated, like we are so deep in that it's hard to have a revolution because we have so many people that's stuck in the old ways of like, I got so much faith and trust in somebody I never met before. You know what I mean? So when I'm bringing these things up about Tucker Carlson, and the text messages was like the red flag for me, and that's not the red flag. That was the final straw for me, and that's when I finally, that's when I finally started tweeting and TikTok, and I was like, I'm done. He's a Fed, he's an op, all this other stuff. But before I was like, you know, he's very odd and strange. I don't know what it is about him staying silent about the Charlie Kirk thing, but I can't figure him out. But something's off, and so. I think that's the issue because when I brought up these things, when I brought up the text messages, and it wasn't me, it was Dre, I forgot her whole name, but she brought up the lawsuit and had this whole video about it. We was reacting to it. And that's when I found out myself. But when I brought that up, the amount of people that came to his defense on TikTok, on X, and they were like, man, we already knew that. And I was like, what? Y'all already knew that? I'm literally thinking that, man, a lot of people are gonna be pissed because like me, when I saw that, I said, whoa, these are court documents saying that you are a liar, bro. Like you used to say all these things, like you are a snake on paper. And when I tweeted and all that other stuff, it was so many people that was like, bro, this is old news. Like we've been through this. And I was like, so I'm confused. Why do you still like him? Where's the disconnect here? And they pretty much said that he was open and honest about once Trump got in office and Trump flipped on everybody. So he flipped on Tucker Carlson, he flipped on Charlie Kirk, you know what I mean, in my opinion. He flipped on Candace, he flipped on Megyn Kelly. So when Trump cut off Tucker Carlson's access, that's when Tucker Carlson started to be more vocal in early 2026 about like, Trump did maybe like late 2025 too, but about, pretty much openly saying like Trump is not the same person. I don't respect him no more, all this other stuff. So they're saying that when he started coming out and saying that, he pretty much was like, I apologize to my audience. I was misled. I feel bad for, advocating for Trump. So all of his supporters forgave him for that. But that's when I immediately said, y'all do realize he wasn't misled. He knew exactly what he was doing. He's lying to you. That's not misled. He wasn't tricked. He knew exactly who Trump was, and he got on that stage and lied. So unless he comes out on his podcast and he says, I sold out, that was so bad on me. He has to start fresh. I sold out. That was terrible on me. Whatever I need to do to gain the trust back of my audience, I will do that. And I'm sorry. That's the only way I could take you serious because it is selling out. He abandoned his own principles and values for whatever, for access, for money, because he's sitting on 50 million. That's his net worth. I know it ain't all cash. You got assets and all the other stuff. But when I see a tweet, matter of fact, I still saved it. When I see
$50 million.
Yeah, his net worth is like 50 million. And you think it didn't come from all of this, bro? People always say, and I heard somebody say this about Candace too. I'm not saying it, but I heard somebody say this about Candace. They said that people in politics, when it's dry season, like now, like let's just say midterms, election seasons. I can't talk about like saying that word too much on TikTok. They be tripping. But during those seasons, that's where the money is to be made. But during the dry seasons, like right now and all the other stuff, they got to come up with stuff to keep the money rolling. So, for example, Candace has this Charlie Kirk thing, right? Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Candace has this Charlie Kirk thing. That's going to roll over into midterms. Even though she says she's out of politics, it's going to roll over into the president coming up, Tucker Carlson. He is going into this whole third-party solution. And now everybody's going to start trying to figure out what that is and all this other stuff. So, bro, he's coming from a CIA father, but the man is sitting on $50 million, right?
That's crazy.
From lying and selling out to his audience. He's been a Fox shield, right? He was at Fox. He pushed propaganda in because that's when he hated Trump. That's when a lawsuit came out. He hated Trump, but he got on Fox and pushed how great Trump was, right? And his salary is public. His salary was like $10 million plus at Fox. So you sold out.
So while he's at Fox publicly saying one thing, he's in text messages saying something else.
Yes. It's court documents. He literally was telling everybody he could not stand Trump. He hated Trump. He said Trump was a demonic force. He said Trump was a destroyer. He can't stand the guy, but he would get in his suit on Fox News and just push the propaganda on how great Trump is and how they need him in the office.
Not good. That's not good.
Let me show this one. You can
definitely real quick
your thoughts.
Actually, I'm gonna pause for 60 seconds. I'm gonna do a battery swap that I told you about.
You good. Man, let me find. We talked about it. Matter of fact, I could bring up the last Yappisode. We talked about it in the last Yappisode where Tucker Carlson had that tweet, or no, he had that post on YouTube talking about us. What are we going to do to get this country back and blah, 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 all this other BS. He was donkey of the day. I know y'all remember what I'm talking about. Where is it? Right here. Boom. Perfect. And he's an op, y'all. He's an op. The debate tomorrow, it was at 10 a.m., but I believe they switched it to 11 a.m. Eastern time. So, yeah, it's 11 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to have a watch party tomorrow night on this channel at 9 p.m. I already put the link up and all that other stuff. So, you know, feel free to watch both if you want to. Personally, I'm going to avoid like all social media and because I don't want to hear anybody else's opinion or anything. I want to just hear myself. So I'll be watching for the first time at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. But yeah, man, Tucker Carlson, I know we haven't like hit on that crazy a lot, but to be honest, it's not really much to say. Like, we've been saying that on this channel, bro. Like, how long now? It's been a long time of us saying on this channel that Tucker Carlson is an op and it's not looking too good. And so hearing it, it is obvious. That's the crazy part. The man has already admitted that he texts Erica all the time and how great Erica is. So like off of that, I was kind of confused how everybody was like, oh, no. What's their favorite line? Oh man, what's their favorite line? Something about keeping their enemies closer. He loves something. What's the phrase, bro? I'm tripping. I'm blanking out. Something about keeping your enemies closer, whatever that phrase is. And I was like, dog, we have to stop, bro. We have to stop. The man 57 years old. Okay. We gotta turn on keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Thank you so much. People started saying that about Tucker Carlson. And I'm like, we gotta stop, bro. He's 57 years old. Okay. He's not playing games. He's not playing chess. He's not doing something and getting information from Erica and then sneaking over to tell Candace something. He's not. The man is 57 years old. When people show you who they are, believe them. That's the craziest part about these politicians or these political figures and these influencers and all that. I'm like, why is it so hard for y'all to believe these people? Like when they show you who they are, why are y'all denying that? Like, nah, you show me who you are, bro. Stay on that side. And Tucker has shown 1,000,001 times that something is off when it comes to this Charlie Kirk thing. He aligned himself with Erica and TBUSA. He is the one that put Blake Neff on with Charlie Kirk. So if you think Blake Neff is a weird individual, just know he was vouched for by Tucker Carlson. That's strange. Tucker Carlson said he loves the guy. Does anybody remember all the things that Blake Neff has said about minorities? So if I'm just trying to figure out, like, when y'all see these people defend such odd behavior, like, I just get so worked up sometimes because it's like when regular people talk about it, like we talked about in the last episode, where I'm like, I'm this regular guy that come from this regular life, and I'm just sitting here telling you my opinion, but these people will be the first people that will come to you or call you all types of names. You know, don't talk about Tucker Carlson. You must have took a check. I'm like, I took a check? He's sitting on 50 million. I'm telling you the most unbiased perspective ever. And you're gonna sit here and tell me I sold out? Bro, it's so, but here's the tweet right here, or the post from the last Yappisode.
Jay, you can hear me, bro?
Yeah, you perfect.
Cool. We in there. All right. Just again, full disclosure, because me?
Yeah, I hear you, but I just lost you.
But you don't see me? Okay.
I'm here. Where?
When you put the screen up, I disappeared, but that's fine. I ain't tripping.
Yeah, but it shouldn't. Oh, there we go. Okay. This is the thing. Well, but tell me what you was about to say. You said full disclosure. What?
Because I'm learning here. If I cut off, it's my camera. I'll just switch to my webcam on my computer. Just so you know.
Okay, but yeah, no problem, bro. This was Tucker Carlson yesterday, 2 days ago, I think. He put out this post on his YouTube. He said both parties have colluded to make their lives better and our lives worse. And unfortunately, they have been extremely successful. So if you're going to fix it and rebuild this country and turn it into a place that the grandchildren you hopefully will have can inherit and thrive, you're going to need to do something about the pressing question of American identity. What does it mean to be an American? But it's fixable. You just have to try, and we will be trying, and we'll tell you as we continue to do that. And when I seen this, bro, I busted out laughing, just because, like, you see what I just highlighted. Their lives better and our lives worse. Your life got better, bro. His life got significantly better when he started lying. Like, he's one of the people that benefited from pushing the left and right propaganda. You know what I mean? And now he's pulling, like, I hate to say it like this, but it really is kind of like a Kamala move. But he's pulling like this Kamala move where Kamala during her campaign, she made it this weird. Dang, I lost you again. Hold up.
You good?
There you go. She made this weird approach, like, I'm trying to relate with my audience, but it came off like not sincere, and sometimes it came out. I love Candace's her series on Kamala, even though I know Candace was pushing the right, so that was kind of her job to do that. However, facts are facts, and Kamala's history was not lining up with what she was saying. So, like, that's kind of the vibes I'm getting from Tucker Carlson. He's like, we're the same, this country is so terrible. And Erica says that too. We live on the devil's playground as y'all sit on millions.
Don't use we and our. Don't do that. Like, I have to go to work every day. Don't do that, bro. You don't know me. You don't know what this is like. That's crazy. That's the thing that triggers me, bro. Like, to make their lives better and our lives worse. Cut it out. Cut it out.
It's crazy. That's why, coming from that conversation with Candace, is she comes from this background too. So you have to wonder, like, okay, you used to be a Zionist, you used to be a MAGA shield, you used to push left and right. Now you're on your channel saying, there's no such thing as left and right. And coincidentally, Tucker is now saying the same thing. Megyn Kelly is coincidentally saying the same thing. I have to start wondering. Then you think about, like, you raised great points about she can say whatever she wants on her page. Another thing that I thought of is not original thought, but when I learned about her in George's history, that didn't really make any sense either. George, her husband. Yeah.
Oh yeah, isn't, if I'm not mistaken, isn't her husband tied to Freemasonry?
It's out there that people are definitely
allegedly, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah, people are looking into that, but even let's just talk surface level with him. With him, he said I listened to his love story a million times because I'm like, this just doesn't sound real, but. And there are gonna be people out there that said, man, it happened to my auntie that she met her fiance or husband in 10 days and they got married, whatever. But George said that they knew each other for 18 days before he popped the question. And I was listening to this story, and it pretty much was like, she went out there to Europe and he was in the crowd or something like that. But the biggest thing for me is that he was like, in those 18 days, they were never like romantic with each other. Like, they were never romantic with each other. So it wasn't like, oh man, we was just like hanging out every night and we was kissy feely, all this other stuff. And I was just feeling her. He literally was like, bro, they was never really romantic. Like, they never kissed before he proposed. And they had dinner a couple of times, but like people were there. It wasn't just them two. Charlie was there and all this other stuff. He went over to the States to something that she was at. And then he said, 18 days later, he said he popped the question. And another thing that was strange is that she immediately said yes. And so, I'm just keeping it all the way a buck with everybody here. Candace is a beautiful woman. Okay. In 2018, Candace right now was not Candace then. So
facts.
Everybody has had transformations. And she has had a great one. She is aging well.
The glow up is real.
It's real. But I say that to say, fresh off of whatever he was doing, him being interested into somebody like Candace 18 days later and immediately pops the question, I don't know. That doesn't really make any sense to me. Yeah. And then on top of that, Candace said herself that she felt like in the 2017 to 19 range, there were people put in place to divide her and Charlie. She said that herself. So
she sure did.
She said, yeah, right. So Erica came in 2018, and we know she was a plant. That's proven.
Yep.
George came around the same time, 2018, 2019, and married her quick. And then when I forgot who it was that was interviewing him, when he was like, he even said, he was like, man, this doesn't even sound real. Like, can you explain to me what was your feeling of you wanting to ask the question? Do you want to know what he said, bro? He said,
yes, I do.
He said, God, man. It was something with God. It was, and I was like, I'm not. Listen, I heard that play from Erica a million times. He said it was
telling you,
God.
Bro, that's a big part of why I'm doing my channel, bro, because I hate hearing people play with God's name. I cannot stand it, bro. Do not lean on God every time you want us to just believe something because it was super divine and it's it's something that no one else could understand because you experienced it. It's like, of course I believe those things happen. I believe the Holy Spirit has spoken to me about many things. There are times that I didn't go to parties because I felt something like telling me, hey, you shouldn't go to this party. And then I come to find out something popped up at the party. Right. So like, I get that. But especially when you're in this space, bro, it's like everything you say is so critical. And the higher up you are on the ladder, the more weight your words have. And so when you do that, even if it's true, it's still manipulative, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It is. I mean, because
I hate that.
It's almost like it kind of forces the religious person to not ask any more questions. And it's a play that has been used forever. Our entire history, especially with America, is kind of built on weaponizing the Bible, weaponizing religion to, for power and control. They did it to the slaves. They did it for the indigenous people back in the day. Like they did it all the time. And so
Yep.
when you have people do this, this is not a new play in the book. You know what I mean? Like we can now see through this. And now the fact that we've already known or learned from Candace that Erica has done this. So when I'm hearing Erica's story and everything is just like, oh, me and Charlie was supposed to have an interview about work, but I didn't even need a job. So why am I even interviewing in the first place? But now we're together and it's God. And you know what I mean? It was so many things.
It's crazy you say that because who was it? Charlie said, I forget whose show he was on, but he had almost the exact story of him and Candace.
Yeah.
Oh, I met her. I hired her immediately. Didn't have to think about it. And I'm like, okay, that's not weird. But like now you're basically using the same story with how you met Erica. But then you find out, and I don't know if you knew this, Erica. So Didi did a video months ago. I actually just talked to the Artifacts dude, Meech Manley, the TPUSA guy I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Me and him talked about this a little bit. Didi dropped a video. And we were watching the first Trump rally. And he spotted somebody who looked like Erica Kirk in the crowd. Do you remember this?
Yeah. 2015, right?
Yeah. So Erica knew Tyler 3 years before she knew Charlie. Tyler on TPUSA's website right now, if you go to TPUSA's website, he's credited with the Trump rally in 2015 as being like his first big thing. That was like his jump off point, right? So you have these forces meeting in 2015 at this rally. How are we then supposed to believe that you randomly saw Charlie at the airport in Israel? Like, no, you didn't. That didn't happen. No. This was arranged beforehand.
Absolutely.
And it would be one thing if, like, I don't know. I guess it'd be one thing if Charlie maybe gave clues that that's kind of how they met. But I've been watching videos of Charlie and Erica. Nothing about their dynamic seems normal.
No. And
it's
Andrew Wilson
very inorganic.
That. Yeah. And was it her? Was it Andrew Wilson? Yeah, it was yeah, it was Andrew Wilson. He exposed that on the Joe Rogan podcast the other day. He said, well, I wouldn't say exposed. It's something that we already know Charlie and Erica dynamic is always been weird. And when now it's been, a light has been shown on it and we're like, oh yeah, that's crazy. But Andrew Wilson said on Joe Rogan podcast the other day that when he talked to Erica, he said that Erica was like, she really never really wanted to like get involved like that. And this was Joe Rogan saying Erica said this. She was like, she didn't really want to get involved like that, but Charlie wanted to portray as the look at my wife and basically saying he needed to push family and all of these traditional things, but he only could do that if he had Erica involved. You know what I mean? He only could do that if Erica was on stage. So now you start to think this is a performative thing. I've said it on the channel before. Her and Charlie was only married for, I believe, 3 years. I think it would have been 4 before he died or something like that. There's no married couple in the history of marriages that should be doing any type of marriage advice on stage when you're married for under, I would say, 8 years. You know what I mean? Once you hit that threshold out of like, the 50% of people get divorced under 8 or 10 years or something like that. Okay, cool. Once you get out of that threshold, then you can say, okay, what's been working for y'all? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they were on stage portraying as if they were perfect. And everybody, they got this whole panel and, hey, what do you do? How do y'all do this? And how are y'all so this? And it's like, bro, they've been married for 3 years. You're still in the honeymoon phase. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't really gone through nothing yet. I've been married
for about that life.
3-4 years. You know what I mean? So I'm like, there's no way I would be able to say, like, this is what you do if you want to get a marriage and all this other stuff. And so when Andrew Wilson said that, that makes you wonder, Charlie's intentions on a few things when it comes to stuff like that. But Candace and George dynamic doesn't work. George came in Candace's life around the same time as Erica, so it's hard to just like not look at that. That's kind of strange. You know, him saying that it was this whole divine intervention thing that happened. That's kind of strange. And then people bring up the kids and you know, because now she's having her 5th kid. But you know, Charlie had kids as well. So like, I was
just about to ask you how you feel about them kids.
Yeah, well, here's one thing that a lot of people might be upset about that I have never said before. So you know what I mean?
Breaking.
She, in my opinion, she lied on her show about saying she found out from her audience that she was pregnant. I'm not buying that. And when she said it,
that make?
When she said it, that was the very would I say the first time? That might have been the very first time where I was like, what's going on here? Because that's just not something that, you know what I mean? I was like, what it's this like emotional control thing. Like if I can get my audience to feel like they know me and know my life. Because when she said that, she was like, yeah, I didn't even know. Y'all knew I was pregnant before me and George. And y'all told me that I was pregnant. I was like, I'm not buying that. And she's just the other day, in her last episode, she said she's 7 months pregnant. She didn't say it. She told her fans that they knew that she was pregnant not that long ago. It has not been 5 months. You know, I would say maybe. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if I remember correctly, wasn't she pregnant 3 years ago ish? Because she took a break right around the time that she gave birth. And in my opinion, again, I'm a man, so don't, take it with a grain of salt. Back then, she looked pregnant.
Absolutely.
You could see it in her face. You know what I mean? Like my sister-in-law just had her 3rd kid not too long ago. You can see when a woman is pregnant. You can see the signs.
Yeah.
And like right now, I'm not saying she's not pregnant, you know what I mean? But it's just like, it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean,
7
it is because
months,
it's
weird.
It's the same thing that you would like that she had said to everybody else. Like, why would you lie? You know what I mean? Because I see somebody on here saying like, what does it matter? All we're doing is just talking about people that we don't know. And again, according to Candace's logic, why would you lie? That's not something that you should be lying about. Just be honest. Right. But when she said that, I was like, oh, that's not true. I mean, women are very, very smart, especially with their own bodies, and especially when you have multiple kids. The hormones change when you get pregnant and all this other stuff.
The intuition alone, bro. It's like you know.
Absolutely. And again, I'm gonna have to preface, because TikTok is doing some things. Nobody is we don't know these people. Okay, so this conversation is not bashing Candace Night. Okay, we're literally just going through everybody. We have both said that we are fans or supporters of her content, fans of her content. I could say that, not of her, but of her content. So
100%.
All we're talking about is again, question everyone, things that don't make sense. If you're saying that she's the only person that you can't question, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
That was something that threw me off. And then, when it goes to this Charlie Kirk investigation, I just find a lot of it. One, again, credit to her. We wouldn't be this far down the line without her popping this whole thing off. I'm not gonna say like just her, because a lot of people have been doing things, but someone with her platform. That's what we kind of been asking of Tucker. Bro, you have this large platform. Help us out. Throw us a bone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I appreciate.
But let me push back on. I want to push back on that for a minute.
Okay.
Because, and some people have alluded to this in other comments that I've been a part of, like on Didi's channel. There is something to be said about the way she's going about it. For instance, the Fort Huachuca thing, right? To me, bombshell. You found somebody who saw multiple people who were involved in some way, whether it was Erica being Charlie's wife or Brian Harpole, whatever the case may be, at Fort Huachuca, a base that has known ties to that area, has known ties to trafficking, has known ties to a lot of different things, right? You found somebody at that base. Brian Harpole's security office is like in front of Fort Huachuca, basically. So he has ties there. You have all these ties. Blake Neff, I think, has a cousin or something that works there. Andrew's brother has worked there. All these different ties, right? You found somebody who saw these people there. We then had Paramount Tactical, who tried to run interference and basically try to discredit Mitch Snow by bringing Mitch Snow's son on his show, who confirmed that Mitch was there because he confirmed the police report, right? So all of that happens, and like 2 weeks after, you just kind of bail on the whole. Like that's to me, that's a big angle, right? If we can prove that a group of people, I mean, we use the word conspiracy, right? This is a group of people conspiring 2 days before the actual event. So I do think there's something to be said about, yes, we probably wouldn't be where we are without Candace, but is that necessarily a good thing? Would we be further along in a productive way? Maybe we don't have as much data to go off of, but the data we would have, we maybe be able to run with longer or dig deeper on, instead of us getting to level 2, level 3 on a piece of data. And now we got to jump to this next piece of data, go level 2 or 3, when we could take one piece of data and go 6 levels deep, 7 levels deep. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there is something to that to me.
Yeah, that I mean, that's a great point. I mean, how many cliffhangers have we been on with so many things? You know, I talk about that. I want to hit on that Fort Huachuca's thing, so I don't want to forget. But that Aspen video was something that I told everybody, like, as we were building up in the Aspen video. Remember, she had the countdown. You know, I mean, well, I guess counting up of how many days. And so I think it ended up getting to, like, you know, I think 2 months or so. And so you know, eventually they dropped a little weird 5-second clip of all the editing and loud music and all the other stuff. But she ended up, you know, tweeting on her page 35 seconds of the Aspen video, but it was about the Women's Leadership Summit. It was about something else. She was talking to Alex Clark, and it was like she said, like, y'all think I didn't have an Aspen video? I've been sitting on this Aspen video for 7 months. And here go a clip right here of Charlie saying he wanted young women to be at this leadership summit or whatever. And I immediately was like, you had it for 7 months, but for the last 2 months, we've been talking about TBUSA, release it, blah, blah. And then I'm like, okay, so you also released 35 seconds of it on your page. So, like, release the part where the donor asked the question, you know, what would happen to you? What would happen to this company if you were to die or whatever? And so people started coming up with different, in my opinion, excuses, because they were like, oh, maybe it was a legal thing. Where I'm like, well, she already dropped 35 seconds of it. So if you're sitting here going to come up with the excuse of, if you add another 35 seconds, 70 seconds is copyright, but 35, I'm like, what are we doing here? She already dropped it. So she should be able to drop this. Secondly, she already said out of her own mouth that he never said the words, Erica would do a great job, like, if something happened to me. She already said that. She was like, the only time he ever really talked about Erica was when it came to, like, the faith component of TBUSA. So I'm like, this part of the video technically doesn't even exist. So what are we? And then the donors, she already revealed their names. So it's not like it's a donor identity protection thing. You know what I mean? So I was like, what are we waiting on? And I literally told everybody. She went on her podcast and she said, I think she said, I'm going to send Andrew Covet an email to see if I can get permission to post it or something like that. And I remember going on TikTok and I was like, I promise y'all this would be the last time we'll ever hear about the Aspen video. Because Andrew Covet for permission? What are we talking about? Permission?
Right.
And so
the dude you're going to war with every day on X, but you email him privately to get permission to share a video proving that he's lying?
I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it when she said that. And I told everybody, I was like, bro, we ain't getting that video, because I've never heard of that before, of getting permission from the guy that you've been going to war, like you said, going to war with every day. And so, you know, and one thing again that she has done with other things, which is, remember, she was doing the follow-up with the Erica at the White House thing. Remember, she was like emailing the White House people. So I was like, why y'all have never wondered why she's never followed up saying, "Hey, I am waiting on Andrew Kovac to respond with the Aspen video." You know, she dropped it. I knew she was gonna drop it, and then she brings it up on her channel, and she's like, "Turning Point USA is holding out on giving you the Aspen video," and I'm like, "No, you are too, though." And she's under an NDA. That's something that people tend to forget too, is that she's under an NDA until this coming December. So
with TPUSA,
yes,
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Yes. So her contract was like it's the terms are like when it expires, it's still 12 months of being under the NDA.
Sure.
So it expires officially. She's off of it in December. So you know, all of those things. I was just I told everybody, I was like, bro, if we don't get the Aspen video, I'm gonna get put off, because this was like a side quest that went on for 2 months that can easily come to a conclusion. So I don't want anybody to sit here and tell me, oh, she's waiting for TPUSA to lie. Yeah, I'm like, bro, they've been lying for a year. I don't care about, like, we already know COVID, Blake Neff. We already know that they are just bottom of the barrel humans. You know what I mean? There's no reason to keep on playing these games with them. And that's also a whole nother thing. Why is somebody like Blake Neff getting so much attention? You know what I mean? He's somebody that's so irrelevant.
Did you saw the, can I say this word, conspiracy? You saw that?
Yes.
How does he sell a job? Like,
bro,
even if I gave every other concession, right? Erica's this woman of God. She's running TPUSA. It's a faith-based company, blah, blah, blah. If I have an employee that even said that on accident, I at least have to release a statement that says, we're aware of this.
Well, hold on. Let me push back. Let me push back a little bit. Push back. Blake Neff has claimed, or he is telling the truth, he is not an employee of Turning Point USA. He's only an employee of the Charlie Kirk show. Yeah. Now, again, Erica still, I would assume, have some type of ownership of the show because of her husband. So your point is still valid, but the statement will probably come from her or the Charlie Kirk show itself. But yes, it's a statement is still necessary.
Something, bro. Something. Because, I mean, it's just the dynamics alone. This man is arguing every day with a black woman on X. Uses that term. And here's another thing that I'll bring up to you. I think the silence from the left is really strange.
Yes.
Because if I saw that, just let's take the rest of the case out of it. If I just saw that, the whole conspiracy thing, right? If I saw that and I'm Roland Martin or I'm Joy Reid, I'm cooking y'all for weeks.
I'm eating that up. Yeah.
So why are they not saying anything?
I mean, that goes to the part of everybody in cahoots. You know what I mean? It's all a big game. Like what Cannon says about everything being fake and gay. It is, you know, I don't know to what extent, you know, but it is absolutely. So when they push this whole right, left, all that, bro, Lance Twiggs literally said Tyler Robinson never even listened to Charlie Kirk. You know what I mean? But yet these people still got on the internet and said he was killed by a leftist dude. He just said he's not a leftist. he's not even into politics. But they're still pushing that. And so, once I saw the conspiracy thing, I was like, the fact that, you know, Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk show, whatever, nobody said anything. And then on top of that, even with the internet, you know, I know it would kind of be more disrespectful for us. But even with the internet, I was like, I give it a day. Everybody gonna forget about it. And I'm like, that's something that should not be forgotten about. But I give it a day, maybe two. And it's gone. And now everybody, again, is going to give Blake Neff attention and start trying to get him to get into X spaces. And I'm like, dog, I don't know how much more y'all want from these people. They have already shown who they are. I don't want to hear about Blake Neff no more. I don't want to hear about Andrew Kovac
Both
no more.
sides. Both sides too, because what's happening right now at the same time that tweet happened, the Nolan Wells case.
Yes.
And they took a single picture of this kid with 3 white boys on a boat, and they've been running the whole race narrative ever since.
Yes.
And so at the same time, we're seeing a conversation about race from the left, and yet they're ignoring an actual event that involves race from the other side. Why? Just because it's from the other side? If it's from the other side, that should be more reason to talk about it because that's your enemy, supposedly, that you're exposing.
Right.
So it just I don't get it, bro. I really don't get it.
None of it makes sense, bro. And hitting on your Fort Huachuca thing, I think from a bigger picture perspective, it confuses me when Candace and others, Stu Peters is another person that says it all the time too. But Candace has said it many times, and Barron has said it many times as well. When they talk about like Turning Point USA is looking to kill an innocent man, right? Tyler Robinson. They're just saying, you know, he's innocent and he's being set up, patsy, whatever. And it's, to me, it's like you can't like harp on that when you are also saying that you have evidence to save him, but you don't want to share it.
And you're holding it.
That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like you can do whatever you want, protect your sources, whatever time you're waiting for, but you can't use the point that Turning Point USA is trying to publicly execute this man, but you're saying you have information to save this man, and you're not. And so same thing with
the reason. Sorry, I just want to add this. The reason I think that's such a big point is if you just think about, okay, Tyler Robinson's what, 21 years old, 22? How old is he? He's a child.
I think it was 22.
He's young. He's young. We'll call him 22. This man, who we all believe is at least innocent of pulling the trigger, right? You can, whether you think he got shot, whether you think he got shot at 39.6, whatever. We at least think he's innocent of pulling the trigger. He may have still been involved at some point. We don't know. But we at least think he's innocent of that part. And he's in jail. Think about his mindset, right? What's stopping him from one day saying, I can't do this. I want to check out. And you had the opportunity to help him, but you've been slow rolling the evidence. And in that process of slow rolling the evidence, now he harms himself.
Right.
Yeah. Like, think about that dynamic. So to me, there is no justification for holding cards for that reason alone. It's like he needs to be vindicated as fast as possible. We should have got everything that we could have gotten before the prelim, because if we could have got more information beforehand, they may have been able to dispute even going to trial, or maybe prove a mistrial. Yeah, maybe show that evidence chain of custody got thrown off, right? Something along those lines. So to me, it don't make any sense to slow roll it, except to other people's point, Paramount Tactile and all these other people. The only other thing that I can think of as a reason to do that would be reviews. It keeps the show going. Keeps us talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm open-minded, bro. So like, it's a great point. I mean, you know, that's one thing that I really don't like when they say that, typically from like our side, is I have so much stuff. Like, you know, I heard Stu Peters say the other day that you know, he knows for a fact that Erica was at that hotel at Fort Huachuca. He said he knows for a fact. He knows for a fact that there were multiple people in the woods waiting for Tyler Robinson when he jumped off the roof and all of that other stuff. And that's why the camera
Who is this you talking about?
Stu Peters. I think he's actually on a Black Line Brief tonight, but he's saying that out of his mouth. He's like, I know for a fact of those things, you know. And then I think somebody on X was like, well, you know, is it a video? Like, how are you so confident? And he said out of his mouth, he was like, I can't tell you that. You're just gonna have to respect it and trust me on that. And I was like, what?
I'm not doing that, sir. I respectfully declined to do that, sir.
It's stuff like that where I'm like,
that's weird.
You know, I brought it up in a TikTok. I was like, you know, it comes to a point where there's only a handful of people, probably less than that, to be honest, probably like 2 or 3, that have information. And I don't really understand how that's not also a red flag, because that's like controlled as well. Like, when there's only 3 people that's going to tell us stuff, you telling me nobody else in this 432 million population country knows anything else, just Candace, Barron, and Peters. You know what I mean? I'm like, nobody else. Because if you ask me, if I came across something, Matter of fact, I even go Mitch Snow, right? I believe Mitch, like when he was telling me the story, I was like, it appears that it seems like he's telling the truth, especially when Paramount Tactical messed up with the whole son, thing.
Yeah.
And so, based off of his story, I would lean more towards he's telling the truth, because he was saying, it kind of just made sense. Like he just said, like he didn't know who any of these people were. He didn't think anything of it when he saw this blonde with blue eyes in the hotel lobby, and it didn't hit him until he got, on his way home after Charlie died, and the memorial, and she's walking out on stage, and he was like, hold on, that's the same. That's a unique story that I was like, I kind of can understand that. But my thing with Mitch Snow as well is that he's been talking about being like threatened. Like he's got allegedly Dan Flood showing up at his doorstep and all these different things. His life has been completely flipped upside down, according to him, with lawsuits with the Brian Harbaugh, all from coming out, right? So then my question to him would be, if you release the pictures or whatever you got that Stu Peters is saying that he has, if you release that, and it kind of helps you, it helps your life by lifting a lot of like pressure off of it, why won't you do it? He also hasn't released anything.
Yeah.
He said he gave it over to Candace and Barron and now Stu
Makes
Peters,
no sense.
But he don't. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Why don't you, the same thing that Barron is, and by the way, I do think Barron is again, I don't know the guy, but he seems like the most genuine out of everybody, like the most like normal. But I also would say that he as well changed the second he started kind of being in cahoots with Candace. Like you can tell his gears all the way down.
Yeah, bro.
But it's so different. But like Barron talks about how Mikey McCoy needs to come forward. Candace says the same thing. Mikey McCoy needs to come forward, get a lawyer.
Yeah.
The first one to the courtroom gets the best deal. All this stuff, right? Protect yourself in the public eye, right? Tell the truth. If you can get it out there, then what, they gonna kill you afterwards? Everybody gonna know who did it. So I'm like, you can't have that logic for Turning Point USA, but then y'all hold information and Mitch Snow hold information. Because I'm like, well, if you want to be protected, then how about you get it out to the public and say, hey, look, here's Erica in Fort Huachuca. Here's this, here's that. If I die, y'all know who did it. Then you're protected by the public. The same thing that you want Turning Point USA to do.
That brings up an interesting question that I have for you. A man like Charlie Kirk, who has been vocal about JFK, been vocal-ish about 9/11, at least in recent years, he kind of came to the light on some of those things. Don't you think he would have like a kill folder or some type of, if something happens to me, roll these dominoes out? And I would imagine Candace would probably be at the top of that list, because not only is she in that lane already, but they're really good friends. And it's like, it almost feels like we're not getting any of that. I haven't seen anything that's like a snowball effect. It felt like it started, and then we got to Fort Huachuca, and then she started questioning Erica, and little by little we were getting more and more and more.
So would Candace have the kill switch though? Because think about it, how like in those last couple of years, they were not as tight, and they were kind of, Charlie was kind of manipulated into like cutting her off. So he would have been like smart enough to, in a sneaky way, get the kill switch folder over to her, or was he manipulated into giving the kill switch over to like Erica or somebody like that?
Yeah, and she holding it. That's a good point. That's a good point.
But I mean, I agree. If Candace did have the kill switch, which I ain't gonna lie, at first I thought so, but something is strange. Who brought that up? It might have been, no, I know Baze has said it before. It's a couple of people. Jesse on Fire said it before and all that stuff. So let me entertain the whole Charlie's alive thing, right?
Okay.
Everybody's reaction is very weird. All of them. Erica, Blake Neff, Mike McCoy, Andrew Gomez, all the characters. Everybody's reaction is weird, and their post reaction and how they're acting out is very strange. But it's only when the conclusion or the result is that Charlie died. If we're going off of that theory, like if he died, everybody's weird. But if he's alive, then it all would make sense. You know what I mean? Now I don't have like, I'm not like DD, so I'm not like going into like all these different things that I can just like, hey, this is like, look, he could be alive with that. I don't have all of that. All I can say from the surface level is that all of the jokes that Turning Point USA has done since 9-10 and not really taking things serious, you know, flipping his legacy, Erica acting weird, all of these people acting so strange. And also guilty people, there's a lot of dumb criminals, don't get me wrong, but guilty people don't go on the internet as much as Blake Neff and Andrew Covert and incriminate themselves the way they've been doing.
Do not.
They just don't. Not. They've been doing it.
Why
for
would they
so
leave all these receipts?
long.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, bro. Like you bring that up, and I try to wrap my head around it because all of the evidence that we have supports both theories very well.
Right.
Inside job, he's still here.
Right.
And it's one of those things, like I was telling you, it's I think we don't give, as believers, I don't know where you stand religiously or spiritually, but as a man of faith,
same.
I see a lot of times people don't give the enemy enough credit for how deceiving and how cunning he can really be. And I feel like we extend that naive mindset to the government, where we don't realize how manipulative, how creative they can be. Like COVID should have shown us that, right?
Yeah.
We had all these people with their chest out calling us evil for not getting the poke. And now we've got like the Wuhan information, Dr. Fauci. We have all this information proving that everything that we were talking about is legit. That to me is such a big, such a great example of how manipulative these people can really be. So what would compel a Blake Neff and Andrew Covert to come out here with their chest out, putting all this on Tyler? They have no fear of losing their job. They have no fear of going to jail. I never known Blake Neff and Andrew Covert existed until after this incident took place. What would compel them to be outside like this? Why are you outside like this? Unless you either feel that confident that we'll never find out what really happened, or maybe Charlie's still here. I hate to say that out loud, but
yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like, I agree with that thought process, and it's something that I try to wrap my head around every day. I'm like, dude, nothing about it makes sense, but that's only when Charlie's dead. It doesn't make any sense. But if you actually think about it, and it's like, okay, let's just say he is alive, then you're like, well, that would make sense why his hands and body looked weird in the casket, and Erica was all over that. And that would make sense that somebody put in the comments of the hospital being cleared out for a trauma patient, which has never happened. So many different one-offs in that one day. You know what I mean? It would all have
not only that, that's a good point. With the hospital, because if I'm not mistaken, Timpanogos is not a trauma-rated hospital. They went to a hospital that's not trauma-rated versus one that is trauma-rated. That maybe you can't fake trauma at that place because that's what they do. Right? But I could take you over to the immediate care, the urgent care, and they don't do trauma over there. So you can turn the lights off and turn the cameras off, and you know what I mean?
Bro,
or go ahead.
No, I was like, even the autopsy was hidden for a while. That's something that could have been shown public, but Erica chose to keep it private until the court releases a few things, and so that was strange because she could have easily said, no, release the whole autopsy. She was the one that chose to keep it private. Then she also was the one that was extremely weird with the whole like, hey, is Charlie buried somewhere? Oh no, can I have one thing? Can me and my kids have one thing? Like, bro, nobody want to know where he at, like as far as where's the grave site. But can you say
you showed us his empty casket, or you showed us him in the casket, right? And now you want privacy?
Bro, so it's stuff like that where I'm like, to this day, Nobody knows if he's in the ground or if he's cremated. You know what I mean?
And if we take that a
who
step
wants
further too, and this might be hard for people. This is hard for me to kind of conceptualize sometimes, but the only actual proof that we have that something happened to Charlie is the video with his neck.
Yeah.
That is the only thing that exists that proves that something happened to Charlie. So if that's all we have, why are we so confident in our conclusion about what happened to him when that's the only thing concrete we really got, right? And to your point about the weird things that kind of make more sense if he's not gone, what about the EMTs? Right?
Yeah.
There's 2 kids on campus
Yeah.
that had trauma bags that are completely ignored by Brian Harpole and the security. I actually did a video. It was one of my first videos I did on the Charlie situation. And I looked up what Utah's did you?
Yeah,
I appreciate you. I looked up what Utah's protocols are for like big events. You got to have like 1 paramedic per 500 guests. Anything over like 2,000 people, you got to have multiple paramedics on staff. You have to have a plan that gets approved like 14 days before the event takes place. And so I'm looking at all this and I'm like, there's no ambulance. I thought there was no EMTs, but there turns out there was. I think it was Coach Collin that had pointed out that there were EMTs there. But what makes that worse is the EMTs were ignored. So it's just all these little things that, like, again, if he's gone, if you're naturally reacting to your employee being shot, why would you ignore somebody who has a first aid kit in their hand? Like that, that defies all common sense. But if you're not worried about him being hurt, if you're not worried about something actually happening to him, right? Now it starts to make sense. So I understand people who don't
hold on.
that
Not
theory.
to interrupt you. I gotta go see what my son talking about. You know, I was telling you about him.
Good, bro.
I'll be right back.
You good. Yeah. So for anybody tuned in still, I really think I understand people who don't want to go on the Charlie's still alive, because you do sound crazy. It does sound crazy to still say that out loud. But I do think as truthers in this space, we have to be a little more objective about what we're seeing and what we're not seeing, and allow the evidence to supply what our conclusion is, right? Taking emotions out of it, taking conjecture out of it, taking, oh, I'm a fan of Candace and, she never steers me wrong. It's like, well, she could. Any of these people could, because they're all human beings. We all fall short of the glory at the end of the day. So I just, to me, it's very interesting. I think it's something that we should pay attention to, that maybe our eyes are blinded. And I'm actually about to hop in here in the chat and see what's popping with the chat here. Coach is another good one. Today he talked about how the security never pulled guns or looked around. Yeah, that's a big thing too, man. And that, like, if we just use our eyes, right? Mikey McCoy, perfect example. Charlie gets hit, shot rings out. The kid doesn't even look to process what happened, right? He immediately turns his back, sprints down the alleyway on the phone, okay? Brian Harpole, all these different guys that, like, you just watch their reaction and it's not natural. I'll tell you this, Jay, you back here with me?
Yeah.
So you might be able to speak to this because you're from Atlanta. I grew up in the suburbs, okay? So I'm not from O Block. I'm not from that life, okay? I'm in the Chicago area. I do not live in Chicago, okay? But I have been to several parties where guns ring out, shots ring out, okay? And I don't mean to bring race into this, but I'm just being 100. White people ain't that calm around gunfire. Like, it's just not the case. Black people too. You hear a gunshot, like, a lot of us don't even look to see where it came from. We out. I'm loose. I'm gone, right? I'll figure out what happened later. And so when I watch these people on camera, after a gunshot rings out, a gunshot that nobody in the room or nobody in the vicinity should be expecting, and I see all these weird reactions or non-reactions. Like somebody brought up in the chat, that's why I was talking about it. They talked about Coach Collins' episode about how he brought up how nobody pulled their weapon, nobody drew their gun.
Whole security team.
Huh?
Brian
You're
Harbaugh
fired. I'm sorry, you're
immediately
fired.
turned. He was under here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know Blake Bednarz has been attacked for it, but if you look at the
talk
video,
about that too next. Yep.
if you look at the video, Brian Harbaugh, he's looking around. As soon as the bang happens, he immediately, I'm talking about probably quicker than Mikey McCoy walking away. He immediately puts something in his pocket, turns, and goes straight to Charlie. That wasn't a reaction. That was a response. Like that. That was a game plan.
Ooh,
right? That was not
heavy.
like a, oh shoot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, you could be trained on whatever, but again, this has never happened at a Charlie Kirk event. There's nothing like this that you can actually prepare and train for. Your battery just died. There's nothing that he could actually prepare and train for. And Brian Harbaugh immediately turned around and walked over to Charlie, or ran over to Charlie, I guess. It's none of it makes sense, bro. None of it makes sense. I just don't. That's why I say, bro, it kind of favors, like, I don't want to believe it, but at the same time, I think we should definitely question anything, everybody. Let's see what he said. He said he could, bro. Getting his camera straight. I think we should question anything and everybody. And so when you see stuff like that, like I said, Charlie being alive, that's when you're like, it might make sense for people to be acting so weird if he actually is alive. The casket, the autopsy, Barron has been breaking down, or maybe somebody has been breaking down the whole when was the autopsy performed? Because, like, how was it performed so quick with the body being still warm? That was in that long interview with Julian Dory, Barron, and that death investigator, whatever his name was. But they said the same thing then. I mean, he said the same thing. He was like, you gotta wait till the body's cold. But yet Charlie's like, autopsy already happened, and he's on Air Force 2, headed back to Arizona. And so, like, I don't know, man. It's strange. And then again, that goes to kind of like the same conversation of you back. That goes to
being there.
That goes to everybody else too. I was just talking about the Brian Harbaugh thing, like he squeezed something, hand goes in his pocket quicker than Mikey McCoy running away, and then he immediately turns and runs to Charlie as if he knew exactly what happened. Same thing with Mikey McCoy. Bang happens. He doesn't even see Charlie fall. That's how quick he turns around. Mm-hmm. And then, like you said, and we played a video like on the last episode. There's an angle, a wide angle of the whole crowd when the bang happened. All however many hundreds to thousands of people that was there, everybody had the same reaction. And it's general common human reactions. You duck, or you immediately like, what the heck was that? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then eventually, fight or fight. Right, I'm going. Everybody did that in the crowd. So it's like it comes to a point where you have a sample size of, let's just say, 1,000 people that do the same thing. And then you look at Mikey McCoy, who did not do what the 1,000 people did. What makes you different than 1,000 people? All these people looked around for it was probably like 1 to 2 seconds of everybody being like, what was that? And then everybody ducked. And then everybody ran. And he was gone before any of that happened. And so it's like, it's crazy.
And I'm glad you bring that up, and especially Blake, because that's something I wanted to touch on too. What was I going to say? With everybody's reaction, did you see Barron's video, an episode he did not a while back? He talked about the eyewitnesses. I'm a really big proponent of when situations like this take place to pay attention to the eyewitnesses.
Mhm.
If people knew or heard more of the eyewitnesses on 9/11, a lot of them wouldn't believe the narrative if they still do.
Right.
So many firefighters, police officers, like live on TV, were like, "Yeah, there were multiple explosions before the planes even hit." Like
Mhm.
they say it, right? And so like the idea when people are like, "Well, that's a conspiracy." It's like, no, the cops said it. The firefighters who were in the building said it. So like,
Mhm.
no, it's not a conspiracy. They were there. You weren't. I wasn't. Right. So Barron did a video about I think it was like 25 people that he was able to find on camera that mentioned that the shot that they heard sounded like a firecracker. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to share this with you. I did a video on this, and I'm actually working on a follow up because when I did my first video, I didn't have the original file. I'm going to share this picture with you real quick. Um, but I took a recording. So Didi did an episode where he got the video, the UVU video from that Blake Bednar's got his hands on. You know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Um, so Didi did a video on it, and I didn't have the video, so I just did a screen recording of it because I'm an audio engineer. I told you I make music. I produce for a couple people, so like audio is like my thing, right? And so I was like, okay, let me just look through the audio, right? Didi says something about how he likes to always have he likes to always bring something fresh to the table, otherwise he just won't comment on stuff. And I was like, you know what? That's a good way to be. I like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, let me see what I can add to the table. Let me see what I can bring to the table. And so I took the audio from the Blake Bednar's video and I found just a random, I actually found a video. So the Blake Bednar's UVU video is from Charlie's left side, right? And it's the 11-minute, 16-second video.
Wait, I think
I
I yeah.
found
I think I watched your
you
video on this.
you might have seen it, yeah. So I took a video. The second clip down there in this picture is a video from Charlie's right, and it's from a cell phone. I think it's a cell phone. The quality is like good, but it's not like like a DSLR type quality. So I think it's
Right.
a cell phone, but I couldn't tell. And I just wanted to look at the audio, and immediately, bro, I threw these into Logic, and I was like, Something's off. Something's off." Because if I'm recording a real time event, I don't care what kind of camera I have, the audio that's taking place is going to show up and look similar no matter what the camera type, no matter what the microphone type. It might be different volumes, but it's going to have similar character, right? So this
Mhm.
top video shows, and this is the impact point here. It's like a loud gunshot, like a rifle blast, and it's loud. And then it's like a long reverb tail, which makes sense because they were in an amphitheater. There should be a ton of reverb, depending on
Right.
where the shot came from.
Right.
This second clip, you can tell it looks like a clap. It looks like somebody's doing this in the microphone. Okay,
Right.
sounds completely different. I was able to find. I'm doing a follow up video on this now. I found 6 more angles of that day. Every single video that I found, the audio sound looks like this second clip here.
Mm.
A a a,
The
a
bottom one.
crack thump. Yep,
Right.
like a clap and then a thud. The
Mm.
only video that exists that has this loud rifle blast is the UVU video. It's the only one.
Blake's video.
It's the only one.
Mm.
Now, when I first got the video, because like I said, this first video that I did that I posted, I didn't have the original. So that first video is a screen recording. And I had some people in the comments, like, "Oh, you got to have the original." I was like, no, I don't. I don't need the original to look at waveforms. That's not how that works. But whatever, I'll give it to you. Somebody on X, I don't want to mention their name because I don't know if he wants me to or not, but it's somebody that we've both interacted with before. They sent me the original. So I had the 11-minute, 16-second UVU video, the same one that Blake sent Didi,
Mhm.
2.99 gigs. Like I verified all that. It's the original. Okay. The camera that UVU used is some type of Canon DSLR, and it has 4 channels of output. It basically has 4 microphone outputs. Okay. So the original video has 4 different channels of audio. Okay. There's one channel, and it's this top one here. There's one channel that has this like. Actually, I'm gonna see if I can find another picture of it for you, and I'll send it to you. But
Okay.
it. Somebody took this channel. It started to record normally the audio. You can hear the audio guys. You can hear the UVU audio tech guys say something about that channel's audio being weird or off. They turn the mic off completely. And you know they turned it off completely because it doesn't just abruptly cut out, it actually fades out. It fades out. A couple seconds later, it turns back on. When it turns back on, it is so distorted, and it's like it's hard to even explain. It would be like someone yelling in a microphone. It's that level of distortion. Okay.
Mm.
And that distortion plays out throughout the entire rest of the video, including the shot. The other three channels that are on this video from this camera all look like this second clip that I'm showing you. The crack and the thump. The only
Wow.
one that has this exaggerated rifle sound is this top channel. Now,
And so you're implying that Blake's video is not real, or at least
I don't want to.
altered or
Yeah,
something like that.
I'm going to use the word altered. And the reason
Okay.
I say it's altered is for this reason specifically. One is what I would call a black swan. Okay. So it's the only video of its kind. All the other videos have something else. They have this second waveform, the crack thump that all of the eyewitnesses said that they heard. They said it sounded like a firecracker, right? So the eyewitness account matches what we're seeing here with all these amateur videos. So that's the first reason why it sticks out to me. The second reason why I think it's important, I was able to take all of the audio channels. So I took all 4 channels from the UVU video, and then I took about 5 other videos and I brought them all into Logic. Okay. Not to bore people with the nerd talk, but I took a VU meter, which allows you to just zero all of the sounds so that when the impact hits, it all hits at the same volume. Okay.
Okay.
Now, once it hits at the same volume, these channels are still different volumes. So the sound hits at 0, but it's not the same volume as each channel is different volumes. So there's, again, I'm trying not to get too nerdy, but there's volume and there's gain. Okay, so they all hit at the same gain. That way, I know that I'm looking at an apples to apples comparison. But the clips themselves are at different volumes. All of these other clips that I have are at about -3 to -5 dB. So if 0 is the ceiling, -3 to -5 is kind of where they all land. This top video that is obviously distorted, it is obviously 15, 16 dB of gain louder than all the other channels. The volume that it shows up at is like -20. What that means is somebody took this audio after the fact and added either a limiter or a compressor to bring the overall volume down. So at some point, somebody took this channel of audio and turned it down.
Wow.
Now, again, I don't know who did it. At first, I thought, okay, maybe this is Blake, because everybody was talking about Blake, right? Everybody was questioning Blake, and I was like, okay, maybe it is something there. I don't think it's him. Maybe that's just a hunch. I don't think it's him. I don't even know if it was done maliciously. I'm not going to sit here and say that somebody intentionally did this with the intent to deceive. All I'm saying is that it was done. Somebody took this audio channel and turned it down, and it's the only channel of audio that we have that has this rifle with the reverb. All the other channels crack thump. So that was one of the things to me that was like, again, from an audio engineer standpoint, audio doesn't lie. The waveform doesn't lie. This picture that we're looking at is its own story, and that story is basically eyewitness testimony. And what you can hear with these other videos, you can hear the crack. It almost sounds like, I joked in the video, it sounds like a harpoon, like a sound. Right. We don't hear like a rifle blast sound. We don't hear that. We hear this crack thump. I can see the crack thump. The only channel that doesn't have it is this UVU video. So
why do you think that? Because, you know, I'm saying Blake because I know Blake is the person that kind of has the rights to this video that everybody is talking about.
Sure.
But if Blake has never said that, it was a rifle sound, he's on all these other theories. So let's just say, like, hypothetically speaking, or just throwing it out there, just, your idea, your opinion.
Yeah.
Why would Blake, let's just say he did, don't know, but again, hypothetically speaking, why would Blake be somebody to play with the audio and manipulate the sound when it's not the original, when he also is not pushing any type of Fed slop? Like, he's been pushing all these other things. So why would his video have altered sound?
I don't know. That's part of the reason why I've kind of been sitting on it since my first video, because I still don't get it, to be honest with you.
Right.
And it's also why I don't think it was Blake. I don't want to sound condescending. It takes someone who has a knowledge of audio to do this. It's not hard. It's not hard to either add a gunshot sound to audio after the fact, or to compress a sound after the fact. It's not difficult to do, but you have to know what you're doing, right? So I don't know. All I can tell you for sure is that the only video with a rifle blast is the video from UVU. It's the only one. It's the only one. And because Blake has been so adamant that Charlie was not shot, that's why I'm kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt. Because
that's why I say it'd be a little confusing if he was the one that did it. Yeah.
Makes no sense to me. It also doesn't make sense to me that he got the video in the first place. How'd you get this, bro? Who sent this to you? So that's part of it. But again, I know that it takes some type of knowledge to do that. And that's why I said maybe it was these kids recording, they're college kids, they're AV kids. They don't know what to do. So they just try to make the audio work. It could be that simple. But why is this the only video that we have that has a rifle blast in it? That's what I don't get.
Right. Man, that's interesting, bro. I mean, so while we're on Blake, another question for you, in your opinion.
Yeah. And you can take this off screen if you want to. It's fine. Or you can leave it up. I don't care.
That is crazy, because I didn't know that. I mean, thank you for telling me that.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what is it with, Blake kind of being isolated on his own? In theory, like, everybody doesn't want to be a Blake, but because he was called out by Candace. He was on Baron's show early on.
Early, bro.
But now all of a sudden everybody is like, Blake's a crash out. I don't want to be a Blake.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that? Because I know he's been an interesting individual. He's been not on the show, but he's been in the chat plenty of times here, and he's been cool. But what's your opinion on the whole Blake dynamic?
So first, I'm going to take the time to apologize to him, because I was not happy. The very first time I caught him after I found his videos on X, I jumped into one of his lives. He had what's the girl's name? Kelly Rabin.
Yeah.
Those two were talking, and immediately I was like, I don't like the way this guy talks to people. I just don't like it. I didn't like the way he talked to Kelly. I didn't like the way he addressed her. He was kind of condescending. Obviously, we know, and anybody who knows Kelly Rabin, that she's on the Charlie's still with us side. And obviously Blake doesn't believe that, but the way that he was addressing her, I just didn't like it. It rubbed me the wrong way. And then all this stuff started coming out about him, about his past. And like, I'm in the camp of DD. I'm not about to judge you. Like, you could have a criminal record of like this long. That don't mean nothing to me. Is what you're telling me truthful or not? Can I back it up with evidence or not? Like, unless he has a history of like murdering people and covering it up, like, that, it's not relevant. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
I didn't jump in that camp. My only experience was what I saw and how he talked to Kelly. So if I'm being honest, I think it's just as simple as a person who has a good message but is a bad messenger.
Mm.
If that makes sense. Like, you could be telling me the truth about something I need to do to clean my life up, But if you don't have your life cleaned up, you're the wrong person to tell me to clean my life up.
Right. Yeah.
So that to me is kind of why I feel like he's kind of been ostracized in a way. I also think it's weird that, well, I shouldn't say it's weird, but Blake kind of I shouldn't use this term, shot himself in the foot. I shouldn't use that term. But he kind of dug himself a really big hole by the way he treated Candace, right?
Yeah.
Like me and you just talked about it. Like she's the one keeping the water running, right?
Right.
You had the opportunity. You talked to Candace on the phone, my guy. You texted Candace Owens. Like you had access that, let's just be real about it. Me and you would kill for. I'd kill for a conversation with Candace Owens. Like that, regardless of what we think about her, that'd be amazing just to talk to her. You had that type of access and you treated her so poorly publicly that she just cut you out completely. So when people say they don't want to be a Blake, to me, that's what they mean. It's the shenanigans.
Yeah.
It's the way you go about, even though you might be onto something. He's the one that's been talking about the shape charge, right? Like he's been big about that. And now you see Candace is talking about that. Blake, that could have been you, bro. Right? Like you could have been the one getting love and blowing up with the channel and all that. But you dug yourself a hole because of the way you treated her. So I don't know if it has anything to do necessarily with like info. I think it's just the way that he goes about his business.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think majority of the time when I do hear him, it was, delivery and like you said, all of these things going on and behind the scenes and, afterwards, his whole thing with Candace, he went on to like, I'm gonna post everything we've ever talked about in private. That's just slimy
it's like,
stuff.
who's gonna trust you after that? Yeah, nobody's gonna trust you after that.
Right. But like you said, the shape charge, he's been on that. He's been talking about the pendant that's still on the table, and he's been somebody that's always been talking about it. And when Candace came back from vacation and she immediately dove straight into the microphone theory, which, with my mind, I already was like, that's odd. But besides it being odd, because there's something that's been talked about since like September, October. And, Candace has avoided that conversation for a very long time. And then she came back from vacation and then she immediately was like, that's what I believe. And then, talked about John Bray and all that other stuff. But besides that, to your point, like that was a time that was like, yes, you had John Bray talking about it and doing different tests and stuff, but you also had Blake that was huge on that as well. And so I agree. I think, oh man, I don't know. Blake is definitely an interesting individual, but like you said,
it's
I
weird.
think he shot himself in the foot. But the footage, I'm on your side on that. I feel like due to what side he's on, because whether his delivery is bad, whether he's disrespectful to people and all that other stuff, he's still on the side what it appears to be. He appears to be on the side of truth still.
Yes.
So
yes.
I
would very much consider him an ally. I would not say that he's like controlled opposition. I personally just don't believe that. But it's almost like you ever watch the show Traders?
Yeah.
So this me and my girl Chelsea is one of our favorite shows. And a lot of times, obviously, they're trying to find the traitor, but they also will vote off bad faithfuls, right?
Yeah.
People who like, you're just too suspicious that even if you are faithful, I can't trust you anymore. To me, Blake is a bad faithful, right? It's like, yeah, you're on my side, but I still can't be seen with you for, X, Y, Z.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so what you think then about, oh, it's so crazy, bro. It's crazy. This whole conversation, like anything about the Charlie Kirk investigation is impossible to do it under an hour because you just go into so many different things. It's so crazy. And everything just flows too. It's like, it's crazy. But so what do you think about, let's just play that side, and everybody is holding evidence and keeping their cards close to their chest.
Mm-hmm.
With your opinion, imagination, if you were to turn on that side of your brain, if you were to have evidence, what would they be waiting for? Candace, Barron, Stu Peters, anybody that's claimed to have information and they are waiting for the right time, because that's what all the supporters, everybody's talking about 4D chess, everybody's playing chess. So in your opinion, I know they made me hate that. Like I can't stand hearing it now.
Bro,
but in your opinion,
if everybody's playing chess, nobody's playing chess.
Bro, exactly, bro. Exactly. But in your opinion, what would everybody be waiting for to drop information?
Honestly, the only thing that makes sense to me is time. Just allowing enough time to go by. Either it's time going by to like prolong the conversation, or it's time to go by to get to the trial. But the only thing that makes sense to me is slow rolling for the sake of slow rolling. I don't think they're waiting for any one specific thing, right? Like there's not going to be a video that comes out that actually is 4K of Tyler taking the shot. That doesn't exist. If it existed, we'd see it already. There isn't going to be, we actually know what was under the ground at UVU. We have, the shrapnel or whatever the case that was dug up. Like that's not going to happen. That evidence is gone. So what else could there be that we are waiting for other than just trying to run out the clock? You play ball, this. It's like I'm up 20. I'm just trying to hold the ball.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take a shot. You're going to have to foul me. That to me, that's what I think is happening now. It's a drawn out stalling. It's a filibuster. They're filibustering the conversation in hopes that either something else takes over in terms of narrative, or the trial goes through. Tyler's either convicted, or they give him the Lee Harvey Oswald treatment or the Epstein treatment, and then it's over.
Yeah,
that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm looking at comments and stuff, because a lot of people are, I guess, fans of chess and giving TPUSA rope to hang themselves and all that. But I'm just like, I can't turn off my logical brain. I'm like, I don't think anybody in the world will want to see somebody like lie for 2 years straight. Like all you gotta do is lie to me one time, bro. You lie to me one time, that's enough. Right? You know what I mean?
That's enough.
That's enough. Like all of them have done it. I mean, God, Erica literally said, well, I mean, Andrew was speaking for Erica, but they literally was like, look, here's Erica with her kids on September 9th, going to a doctor's appointment, and it wasn't her kids. Dog, in any normal world, you would be called in for questioning.
Yes.
You lied about where you were in a conversation involving a murder?
Yes. How many Netflix documentaries do we have where the wife or the husband is involved?
Exactly. So when I saw that, and then it turns out not only did she lie, these kids aren't even hers. I was like, no, what are we talking about? Like, if this is not enough, like, and I think people, that's when, like I said, I started to get a little irritated because the conversation kept moving. We started going into January, February, March, and then people were like, oh, they're trying to catch. And I even said it in December. It's so great. I don't even want to like brag too much. Okay. But what I am gonna say is in December,
a little bit.
You feel me? Bro, in December, when they messed up with the kids picture, I literally I was on that for a minute. And not the first person, but just somebody that I was like, no, I'm not gonna let that go. That's crazy. Because I'm like, at the time I had a 2-year-old. You know what I mean? So her child was like 18 some months at the time. So I'm like, her and my son, he's younger than my son. So I'm like, dude, he's huge. That's not a 2-year-old. I'm just an 18-month-old.
Yeah.
Dude had kneecaps and like it was crazy. And I was like, nah, bro, that's not an 18-month-old. My son is on like the 85th percentile of height. And that dude, you telling me he is that much younger than my son and that much bigger?
Right.
So he was on that for a minute. But once he got to like February, I told the people then, I said, bro, I'm telling y'all, that was such a big slip up. She's not gonna speak no more. Like, even though that wasn't even her, that was Andrew Covet. But I was like, they're not gonna speak anymore about nothing. So then when March and April and May came around and everybody still was like, oh, we're waiting for TBUSA to be caught in a lie. I was like, what's happening? They have lied enough. Like,
yes.
So
yeah.
And at first I said, you know what? Candace hasn't said that before. So you know what? I will give her the benefit of the doubt. But then she started saying that too, as far as like, you know, I'm just letting these people lie and all the other stuff. And I was like, they've lied for a year now. We're coming up on a year. Okay.
Right.
So I just,
come on now.
You know, that's why I asked you that, because I and nobody else, which I think should be something that everybody should question. Nobody can figure out why anybody is holding information. I haven't really got a great concrete answer yet.
Yeah, I'm honestly curious in the chat too. Like, what do y'all think? Because you asked me that question, I actually never really thought about it until now. But even while I'm sitting here, I'm like, what would be the purpose of withholding info? If you care about Tyler, withholding info puts him at risk. If you care about Charlie, withholding info puts the public at risk, because you've got all this public disdain and all this conflict in the public that could be resolved if you just give the info out. I can't wrap my head around what would compel Candace or anybody to just hold on to pertinent information. What's something that maybe she brought out that's like the Bride of Charlie series. It's like, we got a lot of info on Erica, but it wasn't directly related to the case. It gave us a great glimpse of who Erica is, but it had no impact on the case. So like, withhold that info.
Don't forget, she stopped the time it got to Charlie in present day. That's something that she remember she was building on Tyler and Andrew Covet and Charlie's past, Erica's past, and everybody's childhood leading up to present day. And then we finally was about to get to the point where, how did all of these people meet? And it shut off. Remember, she stopped talking about it when it's something else. Oh, yeah. I'm like, that's the most important part. Don't get me wrong. Right. It's great to know their history. Right. It's great to know how they grew up. It's great to know where Erica went to school. I need to know, how is this related to Charlie, right? That's great information.
Yes.
But now we're getting to them meeting and we're done talking about it. Like,
when you bring up how she met her husband, does she not want the correlation to be drawn there? I don't know. Again, I'm not trying to sit here and bash Candace, y'all. I watch her show every day. Like, I'm a fan of her work, right? And I don't just watch her. You can see my channel. I'm not bashing Coach Colin or nothing, but Coach Colin will go live every day and he'll recap Candace's episode. That's not my lane, right? I just watch and observe, and I take in the info, and then when I find something that's worth talking about, I'll go dig deeper.
Yeah.
So like, it's, I'm not trying to poke or anything like that, but again, we have to be fair.
Yeah.
We got to be
objective. Absolutely. I think this is the best community ever, because there's going to be outsiders, like we talk about all the time. This is obviously public, so there's going to be random people that come in that don't know how the community is, and they're going to just be annoying in the comments. But as far as especially live, the people that are in the community, they know we can love everybody's content and the things that they put out, but yes, we don't know these people at the end of the day. And the husband thing is weird. And then also what was very weird to me too, that somebody also raised a great point when I was talking about Graham Allen, right? Candace exposed Graham Allen for being like fruity in the past, and probably still is or whatever.
Right. Chill out.
But what was interesting in his response is that he did not deny it. He said, why don't you look at George? I'm not gonna lie. That's crazy. Okay. Because not only did you not deny that you got down like that, he was like, hey,
double down.
You talking about me. Why you ain't talking about your husband? And I immediately was like, okay, listen, Graham Allen is not a credible person. He's one of those Fed slot pushers. He's just like Brandon Tatum and Jack Posobiec. Right. They just be lying. But I'm like, listen, when you up against gay allegations and fruity allegations, I think you would prioritize yourself before you be like, Yeah, I mean, shoot, you ain't lying about me, but why you ain't talking about your
Right.
husband? Like that's
Right.
crazy. So
Right. Yeah.
it's
Very telling.
it is very telling, man. And that's why, like, but back to this whole thing about holding information,
Yeah.
it's only so you only can go for so long of like telling your audience that you're sitting on stuff. And again, the reason I brought up the other part of like you can't at the same time say and accuse TPUSA of trying to publicly execute Tyler Robinson when you have information that could save him. That just doesn't go hand in hand, and somebody's gonna try to tell me that it does and try to make it make sense, but it doesn't. I can't go against my logical thinking. And so when I'm hearing, Baron and Candace, and yes, everybody has a podcast, everybody has a show, everybody has people they want to entertain and continue to listen and watch every day, whatever your schedule is. So sure, let's say, to give them the benefit of the doubt, there are going to be times where people want to say, oh, it's going to be a big week. That way you can get people to lock in and listen. Because at the end of the day, it is a show. But it does come to a point where like you are like that's a lie, or you're at least misleading your audience by saying, I have this, I'm going to drop this week, like Candace last week. She said, I had a big week coming up. She ended up showing the guy on the roof and saying that he was a little suspicious, but then she ended up apologizing like the next day and said he had nothing to do with it. And then for the rest of the week, was talking about Andrew Wilson and stuff. And then this week, she canceled her show yesterday because she's preparing for Andrew Wilson. So now I'm like, okay, for everybody that's been waiting, because I've kind of detached myself from Candace as much as I'm talking about like listening to her content. Every now, like when she gets the chapters up, like, you go back the next day and post-production, all that stuff, I'll go back and so I'm like, okay, let me see if she drops some, like, something that would add to the investigation. I'll check it out that way versus sitting through it live, because you might waste your time. But when she canceled her show this week and she's like preparing for Andrew Wilson, I was like, so what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Now shows are getting canceled. People are waiting for her to drop evidence, but now Andrew Wilson is the conversation. What about Brandon Tatum? Brandon Tatum has called her out to debate plenty of times, to have a conversation about this Charlie Kirk thing plenty of times. I think the silence on Brandon Tatum is very interesting. I know that's a close friend. People come up with excuses for these people we don't know, but I just think that I've said the same thing before. You know how many random people we have learned about in this investigation that it's just unnecessary. You know what I mean? It was entertaining, but how many people she like called out? But I'm like, Brandon Tatum, somebody that we all know that is talking trash about her. She never mentions him. And then on top of that, again, they come from the same cloth, but she doesn't talk about Tucker Carlson. She has great words for him every time, and she doesn't. Megyn Kelly, she gave grace, and Megyn Kelly was pushing Fat Flop. Megyn Kelly said out of her mouth, I hope he gets the death penalty. He dies. I hope he can't sleep at night. That's the same thing that Candace said. It's okay, everyone. Give her grace. She'll turn around and she'll come to our side soon. I was like, what?
Yeah. Which, to your point about not knowing these people, maybe Candace has an experience with Megyn Kelly in a way that she's like, oh, she's like this, right? Like she'll be the last one to the party, but she'll be here eventually. Maybe I don't know, but it still doesn't negate the fact that you have information, supposedly, allegedly, maybe perhaps, you have information that you are supposedly withholding, and if that information can exonerate Tyler Robinson, you're doing him a disservice. There's no way around that, unless.
What do you think about the defense not? I don't want you to lose your train of thought, but I was going to say as well, the defense has never got anything from Candace or Barron. Like they've already said that, so like that's weird too.
Yeah, because to me, and I don't know anything about law, so I could be so ignorant. Destroy me in the chat if I'm just ignorant. I understand that a preliminary hearing is basically the prosecution's, you know, last drive down the field to prove that this needs to go to trial. To me, that's what everybody seems to describe a prelim as. But I remember the preliminary hearing for Michael Jackson. I remember the prelim for OJ Simpson. All these big profile cases where the defense fought back. So, like,
Right.
for the prosecution to just throw haymakers and the defense is just taking it on the chin, I don't get that. Especially when all of the evidence we have on Tyler Robinson is either circumstantial or it's not just him. Perfect example: Lance Twiggs' fingerprints on the rifle. Bruh, if there was a murder and both of our fingerprints were on the murder weapon, do you think one of us would be in jail and the other one would have immunity? Or do you
No,
think both our black behinds would be behind bars? Like,
absolutely.
there's no way.
And they'll figure it out later.
We'll figure it out later, bro. Like,
Y'all both gonna be locked up until we get some answers.
yeah, without bail. Like, to me, I don't understand how Lance Twiggs is he's actually being exonerated by the public opinion. Like, these Fed sloppers, the Lisa Knows of the world, they're treating Lance Twiggs like he had nothing to do with this. You had all the access to Tyler Robinson's information. Your fingerprints are on the murder weapon. You actually fit the bill of what people describe the person that they saw. You fit that bill better than Tyler does.
Yep.
And you have immunity. To me, you having immunity is weird. Like, how?
The
How?
whole case rests on Lance Twiggs, and that's strange because think about it, we don't even know if they are actually gay. The only thing that we can go off of is Lance Twiggs saying they are. But then it's like, okay, well, show us a picture of y'all. You know what I mean? Not like that was gonna sound weird. I was about to say show us a picture of y'all being gay, but not like that.
Show me you being gay. No, I get you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where are the pictures together of, like, you know what I mean? Where we could be like, oh, okay, they were intimate, you know, like, you know, they was in
like
a relationship.
me and my girl been together for 8 years. I think you said you and your wife been together for that long, right? Or at least been married for 3-4 years.
Married for 3-4 years, yeah.
Bro, I got buckets of pictures, like PG pictures of us hugging. We're at weddings together, you know, kiss on the cheek, like tons of pictures. I have not seen a single photo of Lance and Tyler doing anything that resembles a relationship.
No, just him literally saying, yeah, we were in a relationship. Like, the whole case is based off of Lance Twiggs. He's saying that they were gay. Lance Twiggs mysteriously and conveniently woke up at 1 p.m. on that day. Nobody asked him why. You know what I mean? Hey, that's kind of strange. Like, were you up the night before? Like, what's the case? He said that Tyler Robinson left early that morning, earlier than usual, right? But that means you were awake. Because how did you know that? You know what I mean?
Right.
You were awake. So you knew he left early. That's why you were able to tell them he left early. But then yet, when you woke up, you never hit him up to say, hey, why did you leave early? You know what I mean? He ended up texting you at 3 or 4 p.m., but you still didn't say, hey, like, where are you? What's up? They was just, oh, love you too. So it didn't sound like you were worried about him.
Hours. If I was gone for 12 hours, bro, my girl would be like, where are you?
Exactly.
It's like, not even suspiciously, just like out of concern. Are you okay?
Yeah. Are you good? It was nothing. Love you too. What? That's it. Like, and then, so, you know, the whole case rests on him, but he has immunity. He woke up at 1 p.m. His DNA is on the screwdriver, the towel, and the gun. I mean, the guy said that Tyler, I think that he was being like a little like coached in that interview because he literally said Tyler Robinson never talked about Charlie Kirk. And then on top of that, they showed him the 6 pictures initially, and he said, I can't tell any of those are him because the camera quality, blah, blah, blah. But then he immediately jumped, 10 seconds later and was like, oh, but that last one is definitely him. You just saw all of them. And you said the camera quality was bad.
Right. Now all of a sudden.
Right. This is your lover, right? We just talked about your girl. everybody in here that has an intimate or romantic partner, you can turn them left, right, front, back. I know who you are.
Don't matter.
I don't
know
have
who
to see
you
your
are.
face. You could put on sunglasses. You could probably put on a mask.
I know that ankle anywhere. That's Chelsea's ankle.
Right. So you've been in this relationship with this guy. They show you 6 pictures of him. The only thing he has on is a hat and glasses, and you're like, I don't know, maybe, but like, oh, he does like hats, he does like long sleeves, he does like jeans. Those are typically things that he has in his closet. So I think that, like, I'm like, bro. So when I see the reason, like, another thing where I think that, like, this case is going nowhere and so many people are, filibustering or whatever the case may be, is like, logically speaking, this case is literally not open and shut. Like, they push that, and the evidence is clear as day. Brandon Tatum with the, it's clear as the noonday sun and all this other stuff. And it's like, bro, none of it makes sense at all from start to finish. But yet, he's probably, again, like you said, gonna get clipped before trial, whatever.
Something.
And I'm not into law either, but I listen to a lot of Barron and Candace when it came to the prelim, and they also were people that were like, it's not the defense's job to present anything and blah blah blah. So I'm not an expert at that, so I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But like you said, if you truly do have the evidence that they're claiming, which is one of Candace's things, is Tyler Robinson wasn't even there. You know what I mean? Or like,
right.
It's like, these are things that they would say, okay, that's not something they would like wait to trial for when my client wasn't even there. You know what I mean?
Right. I am going to harp on the fact that he was not there, and you guys are not going to be able to ignore the fact that he was not there. I'm not letting that go.
I'm not going to keep him in jail for another day. In these 5 days of the prelim, I'm finna show you all of this stuff. He wasn't there. He didn't even shoot it. He wasn't on the roof. So it's like, I'll
take it a step further too, bro. And again, this may sound like classic tinfoil hat nonsense, but like, how do we know he's in jail?
He's never spoke. I've never heard him talk.
Never heard him say a word ever. I'll take it a step further than that. I've seen people who have been in jail for 2 months awaiting trial. They don't look the same when they walk into the courtroom.
Yeah.
Like the way that they walked in 2 months, 3 months later, they look scrawny, tired. Tyler kind of looked the same.
Bro, he seems like he's like they pick him up from a house and they bring him in and he does his court date. And he goes right
and
back.
Take him back to the crib. Yep. Yep. So it's like there's so much of this case that, like, again, and I think I mentioned this earlier, it's so easy when we're watching movies, when we're watching TV, there's something in our subconscious that suspends our belief, right? Suspension of disbelief. And we automatically know that what we're watching is entertainment, right? So I could watch Power. I could watch Game of Thrones. I know these people aren't getting stabbed with knives and swords. Like, my brain just knows that. But the minute it's in the news, I flip to this is reality. And I think the thing that people need to snap out of, and a big reason why I'm doing this, is it's my belief that reality has become TV. It has become the movies. We have to start looking at the news and mainstream media and all these different outlets with the same lens that we look at HBO and Showtime.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take the information in first, then dissect. If we just watch the news and assume that everything that we're watching is real and live and accurate, we're going to be in a lot of trouble.
And I think that's where they have shifted down to social media and the podcast world. They always talk about the world being a stage. There are characters at all different levels. And I think the characters used to be on the news. Like, that's where we got our news from back in the day. And we used to just turn it on and believe anything they tell us and all that. But I truly believe that now they know that, especially with the younger generation. I think Charlie was hip on that because he was huge on TikTok and trying to like make sure TikTok stays you know, free speech, don't censor. Like he would hate TikTok today because he
Oh
can't
my
stand the
goodness.
censorship.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
you know, I think that these people transition down into the podcast world because if you really think about it, like you got like the Daily Wire, right? All of these people got their own shows, but nobody really watches them for real. You know what I mean? It's like a
Nope.
propaganda tool. You know, they don't have the news anymore. So
Yep.
we have to find ways to push propaganda. So now you got your Ben Shapiro's, your Michael Knowles, who is Candace's child's godfather, who pushes propaganda, but whatever, I guess. And then even when you go to your Candaces, your Tuckers, your Megans, your Charlie Kirks, like these pages, again, I don't know these people, but they are placed there for a reason. You know what I mean? They have this
they have to
influence
be.
for a reason. All of these pages, they got millions and millions of subs. So that's why when it comes to Tucker Carlson specifically, and I'm trying to tell everybody to just open their eyes to him, I'm like, bro, these people, their job is to earn your trust, our trust, their supporters' trust, the listeners' trust. They have no room to lie to you. They have no room of, you know, withholding things to or manipulating things. So with Tucker Carlson, every single day that he gets on his show, he should be pushing to earn his audience's trust. That's why you get paid. That's why you get the big bucks. You're not clocking in and putting in actual labor. You're sitting in front of a microphone and you're getting paid a living because people trust what you say. So if you're going to be somebody that has that platform, but in his words, he's like, Charlie Kirk investigation, I want to stay out of that. I don't want to talk about that. And then he goes down like his own agenda. I'm like, no, you shouldn't be trusted if you are doing this for you. You know what I mean? Your platform is for your people, for your audience, for your supporters, and you have to show up every day and be honest. So that's why, like, when people get so upset when you are critical of Candace, when you're critical of Barron and all this other stuff, and I'm like, no, but that's their job. Their job is to earn everybody's trust every day. You cannot fall short once.
And how do you earn that trust other than people testing your theories, holding your feet to the fire?
Absolutely.
Because if I just take everything that you say and believe it, you might have my trust, but you didn't earn it. I just gave it to you. That's blind loyalty. That's a problem, right? That's the reason we're in this issue now with the red versus blue, right? My parents were historically Democrat. I tried for years to get them to just consider something on the outside, right? You from Atlanta, you probably deal with something similar in your family.
Yep.
It's historic, especially in our community. It's historic. So I was really big on that. But to your point, it's like you have to earn that trust. I have to be able to take what you give me, test it, approve it, and then once I say, okay, there's validity to this, even if I don't agree, if there's validity to it, now I can at least say this person is a reputable source. And I think the people who I would consider like a hostile witness, I think those people are the best kind of people to listen to. Perfect example would be like kind of like Elizabeth Lane. I'm almost positive Elizabeth Lane is left leaning. I'm gonna assume that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll take it back. But let's just assume that that's true. For her to be from that side of the aisle and to be this vocal about the Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk situation, she's what I consider a hostile witness. She's not someone who's naturally on my side, and yet we're coming to the same conclusion based on the evidence. Those are the best kind of people to me to like, okay, you got credibility because I don't even agree with you about other things, and yet we're coming to the same terms regarding this topic.
Right. Yeah. No, I 100% agree. And I think that's why I started liking Elizabeth Lane too, because I was like, oh, I think she'll fire it off on anybody. You know, like
Anybody,
I kind of like that. That
Yeah.
is more authentic. Like that's real. That's what we were talking about earlier in the show with just like I love being in my lane. That's why I'm not in cahoots with nobody. So that way you're not afraid to say this and say that. Cause even when it comes to this debate tomorrow, like obviously I'm gonna watch it. But
Yeah.
you know, one thing that really was weird was, you know, Andrew Wilson is somebody that everybody probably saw Didi's video, or maybe you already know. But yeah, Andrew Wilson admitted to being a Freemason. But even if you exclude that, the guy is straight misogyny content, right? He thinks women are just the bottom of the barrel, and his content is absolutely terrible. So I'm like, this is the person that now we're gonna give attention to. I'm not even gonna say we, because it's her, it's Candace, right? This is the person that Candace is gonna give attention to. This terrible individual that pushes women hate every day. You know what I mean?
I tweeted at you. I said this might be Candace's first bad move.
Yeah,
because what sense does it make for you to give, of all people who've been calling you out, begging you to debate? Like, I would rather see her debate Paramount Tactical.
Yeah, for real.
Like, at least we know y'all been giving each other the smoke this entire time.
Yes.
He thinks you're a filthy liar. You think he's a filthy liar. You both have experience in different realms. That would actually make for an interesting debate versus this Christian who, like you said, makes nothing but misogyny content and thinks women are scum and has admitted is a Freemason. Like, that alone, like, you don't have somebody in your team that could have found that clip of Andrew Wilson saying that and be like, okay, we shouldn't debate him.
She, in my opinion, that's the part. We don't know these people, right? She knows, man. She said it on her show. She said, I've never heard of this guy before. And again, I don't know her, maybe so. But from what I do know is that he knows Michael Knowles, right? That's her child's godfather. So, and Andrew Wilson, even though I don't like the guy because of his content, he's not a nobody. Okay, the guy he's known around the world for what he does. Okay, that's why his platform is what he is. It's not like he got 2 followers. He's up there. So I was like, the odds of him being up there in the podcast world and in the debate world, and then him also knowing your godfather, your child's godfather, you probably know who he is. And then she said in one of her tweets that she was like, and her team could have educated her on what Andrew Wilson's been doing behind the scenes. But in her tweet, she literally was like, afterwards, she was like, you've been calling me out since March or May. And I'm like, well, clearly you know who he is, because on your show you said you didn't know who he was. But like, you're giving this guy a platform, which, like you said, many other people would make more sense. Andrew Wilson has never gave a dang about Charlie Kirk, not once. He's not even somebody that pushes Fed slop. He's literally like, whatever the court says, what the court says. If you have something else, prove it. Like, he's open to it, but he's like, you better show me the evidence. Like, but this is what the court says. But you give this guy a platform, and then it's this whole distraction because he has, first off, no normal human being. Again, this is people wanting to, I guess, abandon your logic. No normal human being is going to have $300,000 to throw away. That's essentially what it is.
I was just about to say that, bro. That's a whole house.
Yeah, a whole house. There's nobody in the world that would say, I'm going to give you $300,000 unless you you got athlete money, because they do be doing stuff like that. But you're not going to have $300,000 and say, I want to sit down and talk to you about something that's not going to come to a conclusion. You know what I mean? I'm going to give you $300,000. And then people were like, oh, she's trying to, again, catch TPUSA and blah, blah, all this other stuff. And I'm like, dude, first off, I think TPUSA paid some of the bill, right? Or let's just go even deeper. I want to go even deeper. He put out a GoFundMe. Oh, okay, there you go. He put out a Give, Send, Go, right? GoFundMe.
I just saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So he put that out like the next day, or maybe the day of that they announced, whatever. And he's trying to get $300,000 back. This is where my brain went. I said, okay, he gave you $300,000. He said that he already sent it to Candace, and now he's asking for $300,000. He's trying to crowdsource it. And I'm like, okay, you have this terrible individual doing something like this. The only thing I can think of is you just gave this guy an avenue of making a whole bunch of money, because there's a whole side of the world that hates Candace Owens. Everybody knows that. But she just allowed that to happen, right? So they're crowd surfing all the people that hate Candace Owens, whether they're from the left, from the right, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's going to funnel into that. You have all of these evil individuals and companies that are going to use that to launder and wash money, right? I can now go to Andrew Wilson and just donate a whole bunch of dirty cash and use it as a tax write-off. That's what you're doing when you interview bad faith actors. The dude is a terrible individual. So that's why I'm like, why? And then she was on her ex and she was like, this guy is now begging for money, blah blah. And I was like, do we not see the bigger picture here? You just gave this guy an avenue to make money off of you.
Yes, like he's about to blow up after this. A guy that we did like, I didn't know who he was. I didn't know about the OnlyFans thing. I don't know about none of that. But now I do.
Now we all know, right?
And now, not only do we know him, we know like he's got ties to Freemasonry, this, that, and the third. And I think the point with the Freemason thing that I'm glad Didi found that clip, because I think the thing that a lot of people miss out on is the esoteric, the spiritual, the symbolism behind some of this stuff. For example, the day Charlie got hit, on the table, he had the 47 hats. 3 of them, 3 rows of 47 hats, right? Yep. 4 plus 7 is 11. 11 times 3 is 33, right? Oh, we captured Tyler Robinson in 33 hours.
Yeah.
The event was held in Utah, which is like the Mormon capital of the world. The Mormons were basically started out of Freemasonry. Joseph Smith was a Freemason. So we can't ignore these ties, which is why I'm asking myself, Candace, if you don't have a team that could find this out, you need to hire Didi, because Didi found it. So like, how could you not find the clip that Andrew Wilson himself says he was a master Mason? Okay.
Right.
Or you did know that, and in spite of that, you agreed to do the debate, but now you're going to automatically open up this can of worms where people are going to tie these dots, these clues together, that maybe it is a distraction for us to go that route and try to piece those things together. But you created the distraction by agreeing to do this debate.
Yeah.
So like, it's not our fault.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Somebody just said it there. Like they're helping each other. They're helping each other. And it's just ugly now because they're helping each other make money. You know what I mean? You're putting Andrew Wilson on to many people who didn't know who he was, and it should have stayed that way. It should have stayed that way. Like nobody deserved to know who he was, but now here we are. And so, as soon as that started brewing, I was like, this is the part where, again, we don't know these people, but this is one of those moves. And I know you said this was Candace's first bad move. I'm a pinpoint one more that I think was a bad move, which was her meeting Erica behind closed doors with the cameras off.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right, bro. You are absolutely right.
So strange because she went and met Erica with the cameras off, but then she left from there, and I think she did a TikTok Q&A like a day later or something like that, and was just answering a whole bunch of questions. She went on her podcast. She revealed a little bit of things, but my biggest thing, especially when I watched the Q&A, I was like, now why in the world would Erica meet you one-on-one and then give you permission to tell everybody what y'all talked about? You might as well just did it publicly. So now it's like, you got to throw me a bone here, because now when I have these conversations with Lisa Knowles, for example, when I didn't know she was in this group chat trying to push crazy stuff. I didn't know that at first. At first, I thought she was just somebody that whole thing. But when I had this conversation with her, I'm like, I'm bringing up some of the things that Candace is saying that Erica said. But I'm like, you know what? I can't prove to you that it was actually said. And it's Candace is the one that started, and there's so many things that came from that conversation too that Candace said. But I'm like, that was one of the first things for me that I was like, that's kind of strange, because now this is, again, your audience is expected to just be like, oh, this is what Candace said. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so
gotta be true. Yeah.
It got right. And so with the debate tomorrow, I know you said you haven't really watched Andrew Wilson's content like that, but dude, all he's going to do is push Candace for her sources. She's going to have to reveal all the things she's been sitting on, or else she's going to lose. All he does is literally, he's going to talk about what's said in the court. He's going to say, these are all the things that's been said in the court. So if you think all of these theories are wrong, prove to me that they're wrong. And then she's going to bring up one of her theories, and he's going to say, well, how do you know that? And she's going to say, well, So I'm like, unless you drop information, unless she's been dropping things she's been sitting on, she's gonna lose. And then my last point is if let's just say she does drop crazy information, because a lot of people are expecting that. A lot of people are expecting her to drop bombs that we have never heard of before. Yeah. My question to anybody that thinks like that is, why did it take Andrew Wilson for her to do that? Somebody that does not care about what happened to Charlie Kirk. Why did it take Andrew Wilson for her to drop bombs versus her supporters that she did that y'all deserve to? And I'm gonna say we, because I'm in it too.
Yeah,
we deserve to get these bombs, but Andrew Wilson is the person that's able to bring it out. So it's just strange.
And it should have, to your point, it's something I actually totally forgot about, and I'm kind of mad at myself that I forgot about it. The Brian Harpo lawsuit. Because when that whole first thing came out, I did a video on that, and I said, there's only a couple reasons why this is happening. And one of those reasons might be to force Candace into discovery. Because if this goes through to the actual lawsuit and they go through discovery, well, now Candace has to drop everything that she's been sitting on, which, to be honest with you, I was kind of hoping was going to happen, because I'm kind of annoyed that she's been sitting on so much stuff for so long as a fan. Right. Like, I want to know. And so you're getting sued by Brian Harpo. That doesn't bring anything fruitful. And then it's just kind of like a stalling. Let me get little breadcrumbs. And now all of a sudden, this Andrew Wilson guy comes out, and now, potentially you're going to drop all the truth bombs that you've been holding on to. But to your point, why does Andrew Wilson get that love, but the 6 million followers don't? The 6 million subscribers on YouTube don't.
That's why, if she does, again, that's just, to me, disrespectful to all the supporters that have been waiting. But if I just had to think about it and think logically, I don't think she will drop, things that she's been sitting on. It would make sense. But if she does, that it's a lose-lose. If she does, it doesn't really make any sense because her supporters have been waiting. But if she doesn't, she's going to lose the debate, because I promise you, Andrew Wilson's going to say, okay, Candace, you brought up, I don't know, Egyptian planes. And so how does that directly tie to Charlie's murder? And she's going to say, well, I found this, I found that. These things don't make sense. What Andrew Wilson is going to do is going to say, okay, well, let's just say it doesn't make sense. What does that mean? Like, that's all he does. He's going to literally agree with her, because he's already has tweets out talking about how Erica's a moron, and he's talking bad about all of them. He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
He does not.
So he's literally going to say, she's going to say, what about Mikey McCoy? Well, I'm not going to say Candace would say that, but for example, she can say, what about Mikey McCoy and Brian Harbaugh, and how? Well, she probably won't say Brian Harbaugh because of the lawsuit, but Brian Harbaugh and Mikey McCoy and all of these people that acted weird on 9/10. Like, what do you have to say about that? And Andrew's gonna be like, I mean, yeah, it all does seem weird, but what does that mean?
Exactly.
Like, how can you tie that to what happened to Charlie? Are you saying that Mikey McCoy has something to do with Charlie? And then now Candace is gonna, well, I don't know. He was like, well, I mean, then prove it. If you know that Mikey McCoy has something to do with Charlie's death, then prove it. I'm open to it, but show me. He said, oh well.
And that's why I was gonna say, that's why I said that this, to me, is Candace's first bad move, because to me it's her first true lose. I think with Erica, at least we knew she was gonna take that meeting, right?
Yeah.
Like that only would have been a lose if she just refused to meet with Erica.
Right.
The fact that she met with her, yeah, we could be mad that it wasn't public, but she did it, right?
Right.
This, I don't see any benefit to her doing this. Even if she goes into the debate tomorrow and eviscerates Andrew Wilson and she drops receipts and clearly wins the debate, one, the Lisa Knows of the world, they're not going to say that she won. So she's not going to convince anybody on that side. And two, what's it going to do? Is it going to move the needle in one direction or the other? No, you just platform Andrew Wilson and you made $300,000.
Right.
And that's it.
And he doesn't care again. Like he's never cared about what happened to Charlie. Like, so I agree. I don't see the win at all outside of 300,000. But then again, you know, I'm gonna ask everybody else. Like, we all talk about, you know, maybe everybody's coming from different walks of life and different cultures, but all money ain't good money. You know what I mean? Let's just say everybody in my comments before, not everybody, but people in the comments before said, well, you know, she's trying to get TPUSA to back Andrew Wilson. That was one of her stipulations for the debate. But Andrew Wilson ruled that out because he said, I said it 1,000 times. He said it with Stu Peters. He says, and TPUSA does not pay me. So I can't say that because I would be lying to you. So that was ruled out and they didn't have to debate on those stipulations. And I even said, I was like, well, if that's a great stipulation, and if they agree to that, then now we kind of know that he is coming from TPUSA. But when that was ruled out and the debate was still in action, then it's like, what are we talking about? But people were saying, like, you know, well, she's trying to catch TPUSA in some type of lie. You know, everybody
somebody just said that in the chat too.
Yeah, and you know, oh, you trying to get TPUSA to back him and pay money and blah blah. And it's like, okay, so let's just say TPUSA did pay the 300,000. Are y'all okay with Candace taking the 300,000 from TPUSA when they're a demonic organization and they do all of these bad things? Now all of us, and I've heard people's takes. Candace deserves the money. She deserves every dollar. Now all of
that's dirty money.
Now it's okay to take dirty money.
What?
Like, because now Candace deserves it. Now Candace deserves it. It's like, no.
That's like, huh? Like, oh, El Chapo donated to your local church. Like, we can't take that money because it came from El Chapo. Like, that's not how that works. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't, you know, the 300,000 did not come from Andrew Wilson. Anybody with a logical brain could tell you that.
There's no way.
If he would never, a married man, anybody, any human will not throw out 300,000 to go talk to somebody, yet alone put out 300,000 and then make a video saying that he needs to recover his financial burden and put out a give send go link to get that money back. That's not at all what's happening. And it's going over everybody's head. And I can't believe it, because when you get on X, when he dropped that give send go, everybody got on X, including Candace, and was just like, I can't believe this guy is now begging for money and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, he's not broke. He's not begging. Dog, you just gave this man an avenue for all the evil people to funnel, embezzle, money launder, wash, all types of money.
It's actually, it's so funny you say that. So do you remember when people started bringing up Sandy Hook like 2 months ago?
Yeah. When they were trying to like correlate it.
Yeah. Now I don't want to jump into that. That's a whole other can of worms. But what I will say about that event is those families made millions off of donations. We can argue whether that's good or bad, whether they deserved it or didn't deserve it. I really don't care. It happened.
Right.
That's exactly what's happening with this debate. We are now opening the door for people to come in and donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to the cause, but we don't know where that money is actually going, and we definitely aren't going to find out where it came from. So to me, that's why I'm like, if you're Candace, okay, debate Andrew Wilson. That's fine. Do it for free. Even though he offered you 300,000, do it for free. Just so you can say, I didn't contribute to any type of nefarious activity behind the scenes. Because now, if we find out 3 years down the road that Andrew Wilson made $500K off of this debate and the money came from APAC and all these other organizations, you know whose fault that is? Candace Owens.
Yeah.
Because she platformed him.
Yeah. That's what I see. Kyle, he said, literally, how do you lose if she's trying to figure out who killed Charlie? I mean, I think that's what he's talking about, referring to the debate. But that's the thing, like, Andrew Wilson does not care. That's why it's a lose-lose. Like, this does not contribute to the investigation. This does not push it forward. If anything, it pushes it back, because now people are gonna say she did it for money. She's in it for money. Look at this huge avenue. And I forgot, I think it was PBD. He was like, millions of people have been watching this or waiting for this debate. And it's like, no, we haven't.
No,
This
we
just
have
came about
not.
a week ago. You know what I
This
mean?
is the moment no one's been waiting for.
No one's been waiting for it. And then I think it might have been Michael Knowles when he did his like, I can't moderate, but I think he also was like, I'm sure millions of dollars are gonna be, you know, in the air about this. And I'm like, what are we talking about here? Now everything's about money and stuff like that. So, you know, I think that, yeah, she put herself in a situation that I just don't agree with. Because then again, you got this gift, send, go. It doesn't have to be through the website. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people are so very simple minded. Sure, you have the website. One, on the website, you can donate anonymously. But two, you can just take cash and say it's towards the same thing. So you're not going to see, for example, allegedly, but like, you know, in my opinion, or I guess hypothetically speaking, you got your people like Ben Shapiro's, your Daily Wires that you know is like a foreign, they're registered foreign agents and all these other things. You have people like that would just give you cash and put it towards, like you said, that cause, right? Turning Point USA, prime example, right? Charlie Kirk, Andrew Kovach, all these people, Andrew Kovach specifically lately, he's been the one to deny that they can take any foreign money. But that's what I'm saying. There's so many different avenues that people sleep on. Turning Point USA has about 6 to 7 different entities, right? You have the Charlie Kirk Show. You have Turning Point USA, Turning Point USA Faith, Action, Frontlines, all of these different things, right? So, and it's all under the umbrella of Turning Point USA. So if you pay, let's say one organization, let's say the Charlie Kirk Show, that's a for-profit show. You put all that money in there, and then you make a payment towards one of your nonprofits, right? So now that nonprofit doesn't have to label that money as anything, and it can just go undiscovered. So it's like, it's so many different things. So that's why when this whole Andrew Wilson thing first went down, I was like, dog, as soon as the gift send go went, I said, Candace, what did you just do?
Not only that, but like, let's take it a step further with the money aspect. We know that these people roll in circles where they have money, right? Like, what if these guys decide to send you Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like people forget that there's like a legal way to launder money, and it's 256-bit encrypted. Like it's like Apple Pay. Like you can't see where it came from or where it's going.
Right.
So that's why I'm like, it doesn't register to me that a woman that smart, Candace is a brilliant woman. Okay?
Absolutely.
We are not going to sit here and pretend like she's not smart, like she doesn't know what she's doing. She is a brilliant woman. Where were your antennas when you decided to say yes to this debate? Because you're opening up, like you just said, a can of worms that has so many different directions. And I'm curious, who is this in the chat? Kyle Wilbur. He said it's a win-win, and I think it's a lose-lose. I'm curious, Kyle, if you're still in here, how do you think it's a win-win? Especially if Candace loses the debate, how is this still a win? I'm curious to know that, because I can't see it personally.
Yeah, and you know, because I know this whole thing is who's gonna win, who's gonna lose, all this other stuff. Again, Andrew Wilson does not care, and I think at the end of it all, nobody, or I would say generally, nobody's gonna win, because it's an ongoing thing. So like debating the whole, that's why I love to call it like
there is no win,
and just a conversation. There's nothing to debate. You know what I mean? It's, you have the court, and then you have conspiracies, and this is the issue with conspiracies that other people don't know the details of. When it's conspiracies that are only from Candace or only from certain people that drop a little bit breadcrumbs, that's not a debate. That's why I say when Andrew Wilson gets in front of her tomorrow, he's going to bring up claims of hers, and it's going to be literally like, how do you know that to be true? Why should I believe you? Do you have evidence of that? If she says, oh, you know, I can't reveal my source or blah, blah, then he's going to be like, so you want me to just trust you? Like, and now it goes to the whole,
he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. He's not
That's
wrong.
The worst part.
And then when you're debating the court system, that's not really a debate. You know what I mean? Like, you can say, you know, like I said, like the gun. oh, the gun wasn't even fired, right? Because Candace has talked about that. It was dust on the barrel, all these things. Andrew Wilson gonna be like, okay, so why was that not said in court? And she's gonna be like, oh, that's because he's gonna like, so are you saying that the judge is paid? Like, are you saying that the defense is paid, the prosecution is paid off? Like, are you saying those cops that day was paid off? She's gonna be like, yeah, all these people were behind it. So prove it. Like, let's just say you're right, Candace. Like, let's just say that the barrel was dusted and the gun was never fired and the bomb dogs. Okay, that's weird, but can you prove that?
That's right. And if you can't, that's an L. That's what I'm saying. Is like, if you can't definitively prove that, you took an L. There's no way around that. Now, if you want to argue, and maybe this is where Kyle is coming from, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I'm genuinely curious. I'm not trying to attack you, bro. If you're in here, I'm genuinely curious why you think it's a win-win, because I'm interested. I'm open-minded.
He said on here, his last comment was take the money from them. But that was the conversation we had before.
Oh, okay. I forgot where I was going.
Yeah. Well, I was telling you that Kyle's last comment though was take the money from them. So from who I don't know, but Kyle is basically saying like Candace deserves that money. Like Candace should get that money.
So that's the win is the money.
That's basically what I think I'm getting from it.
Okay.
But again, that's what we both just said. That to me ain't a win, because that goes into the narrative that the Fed sloppers have been pushing about Candace, has been talking crap about Candace, which is she's doing it for money.
You're doing this for money. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Here's his last comment. Bringing attention to the issue that a group of people took out Charlie Kirk, not just a single shooter, just like you down Sean Ryan show. But I mean,
did you do that? Did you down Sean Ryan show?
Was it with Candace?
Yeah.
Wait, with Candace and Sean Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh no. I see what he's saying. No, I did not down the Sean Ryan show. We had a watch party. I love that. I think he's saying like the attention that it brought from the Sean Ryan show. He's saying like it's a great thing because of something like that. And but here's the thing. I'll say to you, Kyle, and then I'll let Jay tell you the other side to it if he has a different perspective. Sean Ryan, to me, even though his platform is kind of strange too on how big he is, and there's a whole nother conversation, but he to me was somebody that was open-minded. You know what I mean? Like, I understand he had Brian Harbaugh in an interview and he didn't push back at all and all this other stuff, but he was very open-minded to Candace, and he was literally like, dang, that really happened. And when he had whatever that boxer or MMA fighter that was on the other day, I forgot what his name was. That guy came on and was like, Candace is ruining the right. It's her fault, blah, blah. Sean Ryan literally was like, nah, bro, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. Candace got a lot of great questions, and she makes a lot of valid points. And Andrew Wilson is not going to do that. He's not going into it with an open mind. Sean Strickland, thank you. He's not going into it with an open mind. He's not going to be like, dang, that's a great point, Candace. He's going into it hoping that she reveals her sources. That's what Turning Point USA. Well, let's just say nobody's in cahoots and Candace is actually doing what we think she's doing, which is by herself pursuing truth. Turning Point USA is hoping that she reveals her sources. This whole conspiracy, the government, all these people are hoping that she drops sources. And Andrew Wilson is the agent, is the asset that's being sent on a mission to get that. It's not like Sean Ryan, where Sean Ryan is like, man, this is amazing. Thank you for telling me this, Candace. Yep. Andrew Wilson don't care.
Think about Sean Ryan's show. And this is where I don't watch his show, but I give him a lot of credit and I like his approach. Just like with Brian Harpo, just like with Candace, those are the two episodes I've seen of his. I think I watched one other person on his show. But Sean Ryan just sits there. He just asks questions and sits there. Yeah. And I like it because how many clips have we gotten a clip of Brian Harpo just talking to talk, right? Yep. Like he dug himself a hole because Sean Ryan just let him sit there and talk. That is not what's about to happen tomorrow.
No.
That's not Andrew Wilson. Like,
y'all got him confused if you think he's going to sit there and just let her talk.
That's not the type of time he's on.
just go watch Stu Peters. Like everybody, like if you got the time, go watch Andrew Wilson versus Stu Peters. It just happened a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago. Stu Peters has been somebody that's also been pushing for the truth and stuff like that. Even though, again, I've disagreed with things he's done, but he's somebody that is on our side, aligns with what happened to Charlie and the truth. And Andrew Wilson did the same exact thing. He was like, you said Erica was at Fort Huachuca. How do you know that? Can you prove it? And then he was trying to, Subi was trying to pivot to something else. And as soon as Andrew Wilson realizes that you won't answer something, he's going to keep on asking, bro. He's not going to go to the next topic. So like that whole debate was 2 or so hours and we got nothing out of
it. Nothing burger.
Nothing. He don't care
nothing
about
burger with extra cheese, bro.
Bro, unless you gonna show something, he don't care.
And to DD's point, because he mentioned this, actually somebody commented on his show about Andrew Wilson being a really good debater. He is. This is why he's a really debate is a different forum. It's not necessarily about proving who's right or wrong. It's about the ability to poke holes in other people's logic. And that's what Andrew is going to do tomorrow. If I have to give a bold prediction, tomorrow I think it's going to be a wash. I think it will be a better conversation than the one Andrew had with Stu Peters. Because Stu, in my opinion, kind of dropped the ball. Yeah, he dropped the ball a little bit.
He did drop the ball.
There's a few things he could have pushed back on that he just kind of let slip. Candace will give a better conversation, a better fight, so to speak. But it's not going to bring anything new. We're not going to learn anything new tomorrow, right? And what you will see is Andrew Wilson finding a weak point in Candace's argument and poking. And that is how you win a debate. It's not about being correct.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why like one of his great and best tactics is agreeing with you and then like turning it around and saying, okay, like prove it. Like, just like for example,
I'll give you that. Now prove it.
Yeah. With Stu Peters, Stu Peters was like, don't you think it's odd that Brandon Tatum and Jack Posobiec and all the Turning Point USA's influencers was at the preliminary hearing on day 5 and then all of them came out and lied? Like, is that not strange? And he was like, okay, all of them are effing liars. He was like, so what? And it's Stu Peters.
Now what happens?
Now, that's another conversation for Stu Peters because now Stu Peters can ask then, like, if it was Tyler Robinson by himself on a roof, lone gunman, then why would you have a coordinated effort to lie like that? If the evidence is so overwhelming, then what would you need to lie for? Why would you need a coordinated effort, group effort to push a false narrative if you're so confident in the original narrative? But Stu Peters, we already know he folded. But Andrew Wilson, what he does, again, he was like, sure, let's just say all of them are liars. I don't know any of them. Brandon, whoever you just named, all of them liars. What does that prove? And then Stu Peters went silent. Candace will more than likely have a better answer than Stu Peters. Like you said, I agree. She's going to be prepared. However, again, he is just going to give her exactly what she is saying. He's going to say, cool. Everything you just said, let's just say it's true. What does that mean? What does that mean?
I see somebody in the chat that was like, I don't think y'all know how debates work. Just for the record, this doesn't matter. I actually hate when people do this, like appeals to authority. But like in college, I literally judged debates. I got paid to do it. And that experience showed me that if you're the affirmative, right? Like your job is to state your case and then to destroy the opposite side's case in the cross-ex. And that's all Andrew Wilson is going to do. He's going to state his case. Tyler Robinson's guilty. Here's the evidence. Candace is going to give her retort. And then the entire rest of the time, Andrew Wilson is going to push back on what Candace says.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to be tomorrow. Now, again, will it be a good conversation? Absolutely. I've never seen Candace Owens on camera, and it was a bad conversation.
Yeah, that's
it's going to be. It's you know what I mean? Like this is what she does.
That's why we're all gonna listen because you always learn so much hearing from, even if it is the same exact thing that we've heard for the last year, you still just enjoy the way she articulates everything and her confidence and the way it just comes off the tongue. Like it's beautiful. But like you said, like that's what Andrew Wilson does. And so
and he's an antagonist. He's not doing it to actually try to find information out or like be persuaded one way or the other. To me, he's just poking the bear. He's trying to get under her skin, get her to divulge information or slip up, and give the internet sleuths something that they can then run with and take the narrative elsewhere.
Yeah,
I don't think
he's
it's going to be a
already
good faith debate.
no. He's already cooking up a few questions that is going to go viral, and it's going to
Yep.
be 100% intentional. It's going to be clipped. He's going to ask it at certain points, and he knows that he's already preparing for one of these 2 or 3 of these questions that Candace may not be able to answer just because it might be too private or too, revealing of a source. And then it goes
Yes.
viral as whatever that Andrew's going to pay, or whoever's on his team is going to pay a whole bunch of, people that push stuff like that. And then it goes viral. Like, that's what it does. But, I agree with you though. Like, that's what y'all are stupid if you think Candace isn't going to win. I mean, that's the thing though, bro. There is not going to be a winner or a loser. Like, what are we talking about? This is not something that is fact or fiction or lie and not lie. This is Andrew Wilson going in there saying, this is what the court say. You can't call him a liar. See, he's just going off of what the court say. So he's going off of, hey, bro, I just believe what my government tells me. And us being, I'm going to say the same thing as you because I hate using the word woke, but I have to use it right now. But us woke people, we know the government lies. But if he goes in there and he's like, hey, I believe everything the government tells me. You can't just be like, oh, you're a fool. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, bro, that's just how he feels. Like that's just one of his things. So if he goes in there, he says, I mean, the government to me and the court documents and everything that's been said, I believe it. Makes sense to me. There's nothing to debate from there. Like, and then Candace is gonna bring things that the court or the police, whatever you want to say, these are things that have not been admitted into evidence. When you talk about the bomb dogs not being able to find the gun, that's not in the case. We're trusting. Well, I can't even say trusting Barron or Candace because they said it on the what is it called? The like the police line.
Yeah, the scanner.
The scanner, yes. They said it on the scanner that they're releasing all the dogs out to whatever. So like that is facts. However, they did not put that into the case when it comes to the court. So and it comes to the Tyler Robinson trial or the case or whatever. So those are things that Andrew Wilson is going to be like, I mean, I hear you, but what does that mean? You know what I mean? There's no win or losing from this.
And I think people are they're misunderstanding that what we're saying is like somehow good for Andrew. Like obfuscating or like evading the questions and like pushing back in the way that we're talking about, like, like, okay, that's true, but what does that prove? That is debate. Like that's kind of what I mean is like his ability or I guess willingness to push back and the fact that he doesn't care, right? He's going to do so in a way that even if Candace does come with all the receipts and she does win on paper, it's not going to feel like a win because of the way Andrew's going to go about it. And that it's not fun, right? But that is a good debate tactic. He's going to have good tactics. That's what I mean by he's a good debater. Is he a good speaker? No. Does he have good logic? No. To somebody's point in the chat, he uses ad homs all the time. He will poison the well by attacking your character. He'll do it all the time. But if he sticks to the facts of the case, which is all we have, and for our side, right, the woke folk, it's so hard for us to prove our side. To me, Candace is fighting an uphill battle, which is why I said it's a lose-lose, because I just don't see how you could come out of this on top. The people who are already on your side, we're going to stay on your side, right? So, somebody in the chat was like, oh, well, she's going to expose this to people who haven't heard. Like, if you haven't heard what's going on in this conversation, Andrew Wilson is not about to wake you up. Bro, you know what I mean? Like, that's not what this is for.
Our space is huge. Everybody that is in this bubble, what people also kind of forget, and you remember once you kind of like go outside, right? Call it touching grass, bro. If everybody goes outside and I don't want to say turn off your phone, but don't get on social media for a day and just really just lock in with whatever you got going on that day. Enjoy your day, work out, whatever it is. Just have a normal day. Just don't be on social media. And you start looking at other people's behaviors and all the other stuff. You start to realize how many people just don't care about what's going on social media. Like, it's plenty of sometimes where like I'll be with my son or something, and sometimes I'm not able to check and see what's going on X or TikTok or whatever until 5, 6 p.m. And I'm realizing, like, man, everybody in this grocery store, I'm probably the one person that knows all of the extra things that have gone on in this Charlie Kirk investigation. Nobody cares. You're walking on the street. Nobody cares. When I guarantee you, if y'all walk anywhere and you throw on Candace on a speaker and you in a park, nobody knows what you're listening to. Even though she has 6 million subs, and even though this whole space is it feels big, it's a bubble. It's 340 something million people in America. I promise you, if CNN, Fox News, all of these traditional mainstream platforms aren't talking about it, I promise y'all, YouTubers and podcasters is not going to wake up the world. Like you said, Andrew Wilson is not going to wake up the world. I can go in the grocery store and say, does anybody know who Candace Owens is? I promise you there might be a time where everybody's going to say, no clue who you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Now, if the debate was on CBS, different story.
Different story.
It's not. It's on YouTube.
People forget it. So, and that's what we learned as well. Or I'm sure you probably learned it before it is, but a lot of people woke up to realize that our mainstream media is also bought and paid for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out of all the things that anybody has revealed, especially Candace has revealed in this Charlie Kirk case, why hasn't any of our mainstream media captured it, talked about it, any of that? I think there was one thing on Yahoo News that they brought up and immediately Turning Point US. Oh, the bullet being inconclusive.
Yes.
So when that first came out and everybody was like, oh, it's not a match. But, inconclusive does not mean that it's not a match. Yahoo News was the first platform, or might have been somebody, Daily Mail, it might have been Daily Mail, came out and said, it's
Daily
not
Mail.
a match. Yeah. And so it started going crazy. And then that's when Andrew Covett went on Fox News and called out the Daily Mail. He went on Fox News and then they explained the whole inconclusive thing. And I was like, does anybody else realize that the only time Turning Point USA or Fox News, anytime anybody cares about the Charlie Kirk case is when they are pushing FedSlop? Fox News, the only time they ever talk about it is when the Turning Point USA and Andrew Covett is on Fox News pushing FedSlop. They don't care about nothing else. So that is what's going to bring exposure to the case when you got people like that platforming and talking about it. That's why I'm so pissed off at Tucker Carlson, because it's people like that.
Yes, because he has the juice to make that happen.
Yes, he has it, and he doesn't want to do it. So that's why it's like Candace Owens right now is like the blackballed queen on YouTube in that space. Nobody is going to. Nobody wants to associate themselves with Candace Owens. Nobody wants to be a Candace Owens. So she's not going to be on Fox News, CNN, all this other stuff. But y'all saw the day that Tucker Carlson said, I am removing myself or I am walking away from the Republican Party, however way he worded that. It was on every news network. Tucker Carlson departs from the Republican Party. Cool. So Tucker Carlson got on there and said, Tyler Robinson ain't do it. Well, he said something strange. He said that before. But if he starts asking more questions, and to the extent of Candace, dude, the access that he has, the amount of eyes and attention on him, it would just go crazy. But Andrew Wilson ain't doing it.
No chance. No chance.
Man, bro, I know it's been 3 hours and 30 minutes. I've enjoyed every bit of it. You know what I mean?
Same, bro.
Every bit of it. But I don't know if you got anything else. Just shoot it if you got it. If not, I'm gonna go through a couple of things that I see.
Yeah, if you want to go through some of these chats, and then we can call it, man. But again, bro, I just appreciate you having me, man. It's been an honor. I appreciate everybody in the chat. Good, bad, and different, man. I just love having the conversation. That's what I'm all about. Just carrying these conversations forward and just not being afraid to disagree, not being afraid to, rub each other wrong a little bit. You know what I mean? I think iron sharpens iron at the end of the day. And I think that, two people should be able to get into a room with opposing views and just have a conversation. And even if we don't agree at the end of the day, maybe we can find some middle ground. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's what
I
I'm all
mean,
about.
bro, we definitely will be having a lot of conversations in the future, bro, on
For
here
sure.
and behind closed doors.
Yes,
Because
sir.
now I definitely enjoyed it, and I also think the exact same way. Like I am open to all conversations between all walks of life, where whatever side you lean on, just it's all about perspectives. You know what I mean? That was something that
Yeah.
with Charlie Kirk that like I definitely was like, dude, I love no matter what people say about him, perceive about him, whatever your perception is. I was like, one thing that I respect the hell out of him on is the fact that he was like, bro, if you don't agree with me, just come to the front and talk to me. Just talk. I don't want nothing else. I want the people that hate me the most to get right in front of me and tell me why you hate me. And
Yep.
I gotta respect that. And so
Yeah.
that was, something that I was like, dude, that is just a lost art. Nobody wants to do
Yes.
that anymore. In our culture, unfortunately, people love to pick up violent things and handle it that way. But this is what it's all about. Like I can easily, even though we agree on most things tonight, it should always be a civil conversation, even when you don't. Lisa knows is
Yeah.
on here, and even though everybody did not like that in the chat, it was one of those conversations where I was like, look, bro, we left from there, and one thing she said before she left is that she enjoyed it. And I was like, that's all
Yeah.
that matters. That's all that
That's all that
matters.
matters. I completely agree, bro. I completely agree.
That's all that matters. Let me see. Angela, thank you for supporting
Hey.
the channel. Great collab. Yeah, yes, sir.
Hey, shout out to Angela too. She caught when I said when I said where were your antennas? She caught the reference the Friday after next. So shout
Oh,
outs to her for that. Where was
oh,
your antennas?
ACM, thank you for you gifted 5 memberships. That's
Hey.
dope. Thank you for doing that. I think they like drop on to random people. So thank you for doing that, man. Let me see if there was anything else. I saw I want to click on just a few questions that I saw.
Somebody in there said they were 1,900 days smoke free. Congrats to you. That's a
man,
big
that's dope.
deal. Yeah.
That's dope. We talked about that one.
Yep.
Why do you assume that you know exactly what's going to happen? Be realistic. I mean, again, like Jay just said, I guess JR to not get confused, but JR just said that he's somebody that studied, debates and got paid to what did you say, rate?
I judged them. So freshman year of high school,
Judge, right.
or freshman year of college, sorry, they recruited like me and like 2 other of my friends. We went up to Wisconsin and literally just judged the debate, and they paid us for it. Again, that doesn't make me like an expert or anything like that, but like I have some experience. That's all I
Right.
brought that up for.
And then, content exists as well. Like Andrew Wilson is not somebody that, I know a lot of people are finding out who he is, but just go to his platform. He does not have 5 followers. He's been somebody that's been out there for a while now. He has debated a lot of people. Yes, a lot of it is against women, but you can figure out his tactics still through his debates. And like I said, if you want to find something very recent, just go look at Stu Peters a week or so ago. And it's the same thing. Stu Peters represents our side. And yes, he could have done way better. Candace will do better. Or I'm going to assume that she's going to do better. But again, you're studying Andrew Wilson's tactics, and it's going to be the same tactics. He's not going to come in as a different Andrew Wilson.
Right. Especially if he can't smoke.
Yeah, for real. For real. Let's see. I'll do a few more. They got like question marks on the side, so that's why I'm just going through these question marks on the side.
I'm chilling. I made it past the threshold. My lady's asleep, so I can go as long as I need to.
Man, I got my monitor right here. Be watching my son every night. So yeah. I'm like, the fact that he still sleep is that's probably because he fought me for an hour and a half. So he's tired.
He wore himself out.
Yeah, because he's knocked out. Even when I went in there, he was just sleep talking. He wasn't even really awake, and I just had to like guide him back down.
Yeah.
Why y'all acting like it's Candace's fault that Andrew made a give, send, go to be mad at Andrew? Candace just accepted. a debate, the money is legal and there are no strings attached. You don't know if the money is you have no idea at
Zero
all.
clue. You just
And
yelled at
then
me about knowing about debates. You talk about knowing where the money go.
you
Come on,
don't know
man.
it all. And then on top of that, like Candace does hold responsibility in platforming Andrew Wilson, or at least giving Andrew Wilson attention. So she does hold responsibility to that. Now we can't control Andrew Wilson and the type of person he is, but you know, again, these are things that everybody is kind of well aware of. If not, like, you know, JR just said he didn't know who Andrew Wilson is, but if he had a team that did this for a living, then they would be able to go say, hey, let's go see who this guy is before we publicly accept his offer. Because who in the world got a house note to drop on a debate? Let's go figure out who he is. Like you said, if I find out that you El Chapo, I'm not taking it. I don't care who you are. Or again, like you said before, I'm gonna just do it for free. So yeah, she holds responsibility
or donate the money. Take the
donate.
money, but give it to, I don't know, give it to Tyler Robinson's defense team. Right? Like, do something with it. Don't put it in your pocket.
Facts.
But no, I respect it though. I respect it.
Jamaican girl, thank you for supporting the channel. This was an awesome conversation, man. Thank y'all for listening. This was I think I think Bays went longer a little bit, but you're definitely in second place.
I wanted to be the longest, bro.
You really in second place. I think Bays was like 4 hours and like, so I forgot what it was. I know it was in the 4s. I couldn't believe it. But this was definitely top 2 conference. One, top 2 in length, and then 2, shoot, I don't know which conversation was better. I definitely enjoyed it though.
I appreciate that, bro. It means a lot.
Let's see. You said you just yelled at me. That's funny. Why do we care how much money Candace is getting? Did we care how much TPUSA made using Charlie's name after? I mean, again, it's about who is paying her. You know what I mean? She makes money every day off her episodes and all that. I don't care about that. That's something that they bring up all the time. She's grifting on her podcast, and bro, she's on her show talking about whatever she wants. So whatever. But my thing is, again, to JR's point, is when you have somebody that's such a bad faith actor saying, I got 300,000 for you, just being like, oh yeah, I'll take it. I mean, anybody should be a little skeptical of like, where did that come from? And let's just say it was TPUSA. Why in the world would she take TPUSA's payment? You know, like that's weird.
Right.
But you know, I don't know if you have anything different.
You said, why do we care how much money Candace is getting? I don't. She could get paid $30 million. It doesn't change the fact that I think she's walking into a lose-lose situation. That's just my opinion. Yeah. And he said, did we care how much TPUSA made? I care a lot about how much money TPUSA is making, actually. So I'm opposite ends of both questions there, but
yeah,
here's what it is.
I agree. I think I definitely care about TPUSA just because they're the nonprofit, and you know, seeing nonprofit people that are it seems like in 2026 at least, that in order to be up there in a different tax bracket, you got to work for a nonprofit, which would then make you profitable. Somehow you work in a nonprofit and you become a millionaire. Like it's becoming a trend. Yeah, it's and that's something that Candace revealed. All of these people that work in nonprofit, and she worked in a nonprofit, and I'm not oblivious to that, right? She is somebody that worked in a nonprofit and blew up. So she probably got a lot of money from that. You know what I mean? So that's just the loophole industry.
Yeah, and when you look into these nonprofits, some of the ones like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and what they did, they basically destroyed Africa. The Clinton Foundation destroyed Haiti. So like we know there's definitely some nefarious activity behind a lot of these nonprofits. It's not sweet.
Right. Y'all think PBD won't moderate fairly? I think that PBD is, in Candace's defense, PBD is a great moderator because that's somebody that's also against her in general. Because he's been somebody that has came out and was like, oh, none of this makes sense and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, he also has a podcast where he was like, man, we got a call from Andrew Covett. And you know what? you know, they're great people over there. And like,
On second thought,
he was like, he's a great guy, you know, like,
yeah.
so having another person and having the moderator also not really be on your side is a great kind of advantage for Candace if she does come out on the winning side, because it's now it's 100%. Like, hey, all odds were against her, and look at her.
That's kind of what I mentioned earlier about a hostile witness. Like that, PBD is perfect for that. Again, I would have been cool if Paramount was the moderator, another hostile witness. I think that only helps Candace's cause.
Yeah, definitely. Man, every time I find a question mark, it's this guy. I like it though.
Yeah.
How can you say passionate. That Andrew is a good debater if you haven't seen Andrew debate? Oh, okay. We already talked about it. Andrew has a million debates on YouTube, man.
And the minute I found out who he was, I watched him on Joe Rogan.
Yeah. He has a lot of content out there.
Yeah.
And everybody else in the chat, please don't feel any type of way. I'm literally clicking on question marks, and every time I find a question mark, it is
my man,
the same guy. Were y'all this scared when she interviewed Victor Marx? That's a great question, actually. I definitely was very, wishy-washy and skeptical of why she gave this guy the time of day as well. I definitely was like, I mean, look at this guy's past. I definitely did not want to know who he was, and his ties to Erica and all this other stuff, and all of that. I also think that he entered the conversation as well in bad faith. And again, however many months later, what did we get from that?
Exactly. And we was talking about Blake and his attitude. I mean, Victor Marx he makes Blake look like a saint.
He's that guy, man. Yeah,
he's something else, bro.
Like, yeah, man. When I was 12, my dad had me kill somebody. I was like, oh, what?
I gotta go. Can't talk to you no more.
Like, that is crazy. Yep. Now I'm running for governor. He made me pull the trigger.
Vote for me,
bro. What?
It's an odd angle, bro, but you got it.
Oh. Then he was talking about the retooling prayers, and I was like, what is that? Like, why am I watching this, bro?
Yeah. Very strange.
What are your thoughts on Tucker giving Erica $1 million and raising another 4 to 5 and giving it to her? This doesn't help his case at all. So, y'all know exactly how I feel about him. But I'll let JR go.
Fill me in.
So once everything went down with Charlie, Tucker gave about $5 million or so to Erica as, whatever.
He raised money for her?
Yeah. He gave her one, and then I think crowdsourced the rest, and he ended up giving her like a $5 million little check.
Holla, huh?
Yeah. And so, your thoughts. Everybody knows how I feel about him.
Yeah. It kind of goes back to what I was saying about the Sandy Hook stuff. It's like, and maybe this is dark, so forgive me in advance, people, but losing someone, parent, child, friend, very traumatic. I shared earlier, my mom just passed away like a little bit over a month ago. So I understand. Does that then mean that you should raise hundreds of thousands of dollars? Like, to me, we have gone into a space where there's a tragedy, let's pay these people tons of money. And if we take that too far, we can run into trouble. Like, for instance, who's the girl that people been comparing Erica Kirk to, who poisoned her husband? And she wrote a book about it or something crazy, and then she had like a Netflix documentary. And it's like, imagine how you would look if you gave that woman $5 million, and then you come to find out she's the one that killed her husband. So it's just there's a fine line there. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm not trying to be dark, but it's just like, something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I think that doesn't help his case at all. I think that Erica was already sitting on, I believe, what was it, like 10 something million, you know, coming from Candace. I think it was like 10 something million from Charlie's life insurance policy, whatever. So, you know, an extra 5 million. I don't know why. I always think that anybody that chooses to do that is up to no good. So, you know,
or Vance Kirk 2028.
I mean, you saw the website, right?
I did not. Actually, I did because the dude I was telling you about, the TPUSA guy, Mitch Manley.
Oh, yeah.
I call him Meech. He goes by Meech.
Yeah.
He had posted it. And I was like, that's crazy, because one of my first videos was talking about how Erica being the face of TPUSA is all about her political run. That's the only reason they put her there.
It is 100%.
So what better way to give somebody a jump start on their political run than to crowdsource $5 million?
Yep. And Tucker would, you know, he would vote for them. Those are two people that he likes. And you know, it even made me think about him running for people saying that he's running for president. You know, he wouldn't run against JD Vance. That wouldn't make any sense. He loves the guy. He doesn't talk bad about him. That's one person that a lot of people was like, I can't agree with you, Tucker, because you still back JD. So why would he run against JD? Right. But you know, that JD Vance and Erica Kirk ticket, Tucker Carlson would for sure support. So
100%.
Yeah, I'm not buying that
100%
at all. I think that didn't help his case. The 5 million, now he's silent. Now he always talks good about Erica and Turning Point USA, and now Erica's visiting him and all of that other stuff. But I don't know. It was a great day today because we've been talking about that for months, bro.
Yeah.
And I have, you know, I wouldn't say by myself. The community, the Yap community, we've been on that, and I've been backed by them from day one. So I appreciate y'all. But I'm talking, but in general, social media, TikTok and X, the amount of comments I get on that, boy, when I talk about Tucker Carlson. So today was a good day. I couldn't wait to post the video. I could not wait. As a huge fan of J.R. Smith with the name, were you a fan?
We're a fan. Oh, I love J.R. Smith. So I was a junior. My dad's name was Joseph Redmond. So I'm Joseph Redmond Jr. So my initials are JR, and then I'm a junior. So that's where the name came from.
Okay. Appreciate the support, Kyle.
Yeah, for sure.
Let me see. I'll do a few more.
Sure.
Because we got another. Oh yeah, and if you ain't got nothing tomorrow night, you definitely, bro, you are more than welcome to join the watch party tomorrow night.
You bet. Say less. I'm in there. What time?
9 p.m. tomorrow night. So 8 for you. Yeah,
8 for me. That's perfect.
Yeah, 8 for you. Could it? Let's see. Could it be that she's okay? Cool. I'm back to where I was because I think we did that one. Yeah, that was it, man. Dude, I appreciate you for joining, bro. This was an amazing conversation, and we'll have many more, man, many more. But where can everybody find you, your socials and everything, so they can support?
Yeah, first and foremost, YouTube, The Unleavened Truth. I am trying to go full time, so every sub, every view goes a long way. Appreciate y'all with that. TikTok, same thing, Unleavened Truth. IG as well, and then my full name, Joe Redmond. If you want to hit me up on Facebook, that's where you can find me. I'll be outside.
Yeah, bro. Well, man, I appreciate you again, bro. I cannot wait till we well, I guess tomorrow we'll chop it up again tomorrow about everything. And man, outside of that, thank you for everything. Vibes, good chat, everything.
Man, likewise. Like I said, bro, I for a person that's, you know, I got 200 subs, bro. So like for you to even just like hit me back and be like, yeah, bro, let's collab. Like, I can't tell you how much that means to me. So thank you.
Dude, that's why when I saw your message, bro, I was like, dude, I love it because the community knows that as well. Like, I am not at all somebody that looks at any of that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just all about conversation, good conversation, great person. I'm like, man, like, definitely. So, And I wish a lot more people was like that, because there are a lot of
Me too.
people in the podcast world right now that if it doesn't really benefit them on paper, they don't want to really do it, So I'm not that at all. I'm like, bro, I don't care. Like, it's all about conversation. If you have a great conversation and like let the product be the product, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like even if you don't have a channel, like if you're just good conversation in general, it's like, why not?
Exactly. Why not? Why not? So,
Yeah.
man, definitely, bro. I definitely appreciate you reaching out, because I don't even know how I saw it, bro. You might have messaged me and I seen it. No, remember I told you it was in the filtered message request for like
Yes.
3 months.
Yeah, you had me on ice, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Bro, I had
You
no
had me on
idea
ice.
X had that option, bro. I was like, oh shoot, look at this. And I clicked on it, and then that's how I found you. That's crazy. That's
Yep.
crazy.
It all worked out, man. It all worked out.
It did, bro. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, man. We're gonna chop it
Yes,
up
sir.
some more. I appreciate everybody for listening. Make sure you guys hit the like button and sub button again. I know a lot of people can get annoyed with the housekeeping stuff, but you tend to forget.
do it.
And unfortunately, when in the algorithm and how social media works, is that when you have a video like this, any video, if it doesn't have that many likes, they associated with, oh, people don't like it. Like, people don't like this video, so let's not push it in the algorithm. So that's how it works on all platforms. You see a video, you gotta like it. It helps out a lot. Sub to the channel as well. Many ways that you can support the channel. Again, I'll put the banner down here so that way you can see all the different socials. You got TikTok, multiple accounts on TikTok, well, 2 accounts on TikTok that you can follow, JD Apper 1 and JShaw.3. And then you got J the Yapper 1 on X. X can get a little spicy, so be prepared over there. That's a very toxic space, a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm still adapting into all of that. X is different, but you can find me over there X as well, and then buy me a coffee as well, J the Yapper 1. Outside of that, man, I appreciate everybody for listening for this long too. JR, I appreciate you. I hope everybody has a great night tonight, great day tomorrow, and I guess we're gonna get ready for this debate party.
Yes, sir. Time to lock in.
Sounds good, bro. Well, I appreciate it. And I
All right,
appreciate
man.
everybody. I'll see y'all tomorrow.